everybody, and welcome to the Clash of Races by OverTake. I'm your host, Melly, and you have done everything right by tuning in. Why, you might ask? Well, first of all, esports racing, and second of all, lots of it. We have planned a lot of games and matches and races, and it's gonna be amazing. And I'm very, very excited for today. And of course, on top of it all, we're celebrating the launch of OverTake.gg, your go-to page for esports racing news, tutorials, hardware checks, and pretty much everything. Articles, exciting formats like Nitro Nights or Nitro Night stories, and many more to come. And of course, we have prepared a crazy evening with lots of games and races and sims. So 2 teams filled with huge names like Jimmy Broadbent, Max Benecke, kev1n, Dave Gaming, Cem Bolukbasi, James Baldwin, and many, many more. And of course, a wonderful trophy to take home with. But later, more to that. I am, for the first time ever, and I'm very, very excited, not alone in this amazing studio. I promised you to get him here at some point, and my team made it happen. So please welcome Lee Demon Smith.
Thank you, yeah.
So big round of applause.
I'm finally here. And I'm the first one, yay! Last time I was here was on the screen for Nitro Nights, right? About
Exactly.
2-3 weeks ago?
Roughly 3 weeks ago it must have been. And I was so sad because I had this huge couch and it was so comfy in this lovely studio. And I was so excited to show it off. And due to the circumstances, due to the COVID situation, obviously, it wasn't possible to have you here. But now with the security distance and everything, so it's going to be a great day. Are you excited? I
am. It's going to be fantastic. I don't know how I'm going to be able to cope with the 7 races we've got to get through for 7 different games. It's going to be fun, but I mean,
who else is better suited than you?
I know, right? I've covered a lot of games. I don't know if that means I'm old or I'm just like, I've covered a lot of ground.
Experience. Don't
experience. That's it. I'll take it.
Call it old. Let's say experience. Exactly. And of course, what would an OverTake.gg production be without our man, our fantastic newsflash man, the fastest host out there? He can talk so fast. It's amazing. So Tom, are you there? Tom Deacon, welcome.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. This is awesome. Look at that. Melly, great to see you. Great to see you as well, Lee. I'm so excited about tonight. And you mentioned no sofa/couch anymore, Melly. I'm bringing my sofa to the proceedings tonight. This is my lounge. The best place to watch all of the action tonight.
And at some point when the UK allows you to leave, we'll have you here as well.
Oh, yes, 100%. When I'm allowed, fingers crossed. And do you know what I'm really excited about tonight? Because my title is the Net Man.
Okay.
Ooh.
What does it mean?
You may have seen it. Well, that's a very good question. I was trying to look back through all the Marvel series to see if Netman appeared, and he didn't. But tonight, I'll be looking across all of the Twitter, Twitch as well. So if you use the hashtag OverTake Challenge, I'll be able to pick up on that. And if you're enjoying the races, you can get involved. Simple as that, and I'll see it.
And besides that, you're our man in the pits. You're gonna conduct the pre and post race interviews with our racers. Are you excited to talk to the guys?
I can't wait to chat to them. Some of them I've already chatted to on Nitro Nights before, and to get to chat to them again is going to be brilliant. These are fantastic drivers who are hopefully going to have a lot of fun tonight, and I'm going to make sure I make them really nervous before the race, and afterwards have a laugh.
That sounds fantastic. That actually sounds like a solid plan because, well, the main topic today is to have fun, to enjoy, to celebrate OverTake.gg, and of course enjoy as many races as possible, and of course find out who's going to take home that lovely trophy over there. And before that, guys, we have something for you in store. Go check out our Instagram profile, OverTake_GG, to get a perfect look behind the scenes because we have our reporter running around here. Christina's doing a fantastic job catching all the behind the scene moments, which you rarely get to see because you can take a look into our mask, into our makeup room. You can take a look into our host briefing as well, into our show briefing and everything. Things you usually don't get to see, we make it happen for you. So check out our Instagram stories over at OverTake_GG. And while you're at it, head over to Twitter, same name, OverTake_GG, and take part in our raffle. We have a raffle for you guys. And we will announce the winner live on air at the end of the show. So make sure to get involved, to comply as many tasks as possible, to get as many vouchers as possible for the raffle. Because if you complete all the tasks, you get all the vouchers, and so you get higher chances to win actually one of the great prizes we have there. Right, Tom?
Yes, get involved. Melly, can I get involved? Is that possible?
Sure. While you're here already, I mean.
Let's do it. Can't wait.
Perfect. And there's something for audience as well. You have to get involved with our community votings, but we will tell you more about that a little later. We have prepared a video for you guys. If you don't know what overtake.gg is, you'll find out now. Check it out.
From esports racing to the most popular arcade games, OverTake GG is the new home for all racing game enthusiasts. On our site, you'll find the latest news, game reviews, and interviews with professional players from all over the world. But that's not all. We've got our own video formats and shows such as Nitro Nights, presenting you everything you need to know about esports racing in style. Nitro Night stories and other formats will be here at home, on Twitch, and we're also on Instagram, Twitter, and all the other social media platforms. David Perel, Rudy Van Buren, Enzo Bonito, and Will Buxton are only a few people who already made an appearance in our show, and there's a lot more to come because we're just getting started. On top of that, well-known drivers and streamers help you improve your own skills with tutorials and hardware reviews. From beginner to esports racing expert, OverTake is the home for everybody interested in virtual racing. It's time for the new heroes.
And two of our heroes will be with us very shortly. But before we jump too far ahead of ourselves, once again, Instagram, Twitter, very important. Go have a look, get involved. We love reading from you. So if you have a tweet, if you want to tell us how you like the show, use the hashtag #OverTakeChallenge to make sure that Tom doesn't miss anything. Right, Tom? Because that's one of your tasks today.
Listen, I'm at my computer now. I'll be checking across Twitch and on Twitter. That hashtag Overtake Challenge is very, very important. Not only do you get a shout out, but there's also the way that you guys, the community on Twitch, can get involved and help the teams win. Basically, it's a little vote. You show your support, and the winner could be getting an extra point. So more points up for grabs. Why not get involved?
Absolutely. We'll talk about the format a little later on, Tom, but you mentioned the community vote, and it's really, really important. Keep in mind, guys, you can be the tipping point on the scale to tilt the wind towards one team or another. It will all make sense in just a little bit, right, Lee?
Absolutely. I mean, there's points. There's literally points up for grabs for these teams if you guys vote for them. I know popular opinion is a thing. I expect it will be with Jimmy involved.
Absolutely. But Lee, you sadly have to leave because I have to throw you out to make room for my guests. Because due to the situation, there can't be too many people around. Tom, you got lucky because you can stay for a little longer. But Lee, thank you so much. You have to head over to the studio. But I mean, friends, our first race is coming closer and closer. Therefore, it is now time to introduce our team captains, and we're starting with our team captain of Team Red.
He's one of the best sim racers in the world, Max Benecke. The 26-year-old is one of the most successful pilots in iRacing, currently leading the overall ranking. It all started with Gran Turismo 4. Max spent hundreds of hours playing the game on his PlayStation. From 2011, he went on to the virtual circuits of Formula 1. With Codemasters F1, he learnt to drive with steering wheel and pedals on the computer before finally falling in love with iRacing and sim racing in 2015. Today, he's one of the best drivers in the world and happy to pass on his knowledge. Among other things, he's the host of our OverTake tutorials. In his videos, he explains how to brake or which hardware is best for sim racing to the racers of tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see whether his knowledge and experience will help him and his team succeed in today's clash of racers.
He was just in the video, he's on the picture right behind us, and now he's sitting next to me. Max, thank you so much for joining me here in the studio. I mean, you are not the first guest, but the first racer
Yeah.
How does it feel?
It's great. Thanks for the invite. Good to see you again. I'm looking forward to this OverTake challenge today. Obviously, our team has to win. Especially also the community is very important today. So hopefully a lot of votes coming in. And yeah, hopefully we have a good show.
It's going to be fantastic. I mean, have you ever seen a show with so many different titles in one night?
Never. It's always one game normally. We play that, or a simulation, we drive there, and that's it. But now it's completely different. It's going to be very interesting.
7! We have 7 different Sims games, Simcades, you name it. We got everything, and to top things off, we have Mario Kart as well. And it's gonna be fantastic. But Max, I mean, everyone who knows Max knows that he loves a good challenge. And I think that we might have found the right match for him. So it is time to introduce our captain of Team Green.
He's a gamer to the core. Kevin Rubichevsky is a former League of Legends pro who nowadays is a famous full-time streamer. In his streams, however, he's not just fighting in the Rift, but also on the racetrack. As a passionate racer, Kevin combines his love for cars with gaming. This combination makes for extremely entertaining F1 2019 streams, in which he regularly shows off his skills. And even if things don't always work out as planned, his viewers always get something to have a laugh about. Now Kevin has to give his all in the clash of racers and lead his team to victory. Let's see if he also masters the lane as well in the League of Legends.
Kevin, so esports is nothing new for you.
Yeah, it's quite old now.
Yeah, I mean, we agreed on not calling it old.
Okay.
We're experienced.
We are young too.
Exactly.
true.
Young at heart.
Yes.
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 We're like veterans, you know? It's nothing bad to be experienced, guys. So Kevin, you have a lot of experience when it comes to esports. You've been a former pro player yourself, switched in front of the camera after some time as a streamer, influencer, playing for teams like Spandau Inferno. And I already saw the fan bus parked out there and the guys, of course, with the security distance and everything taken care of, cheering for your team. Kevin, how does it feel to be here?
It feels really good. I'm really happy to have this opportunity. I really got into it quite fast and got really hyped about all the scene and the sim racing. And yeah, I'm just really happy.
I mean, Max, you are a professional for iRacing.
Yes.
And Kevin, you're very experienced when it comes to Formula One.
Yeah, playing now for now 4 months, I think, but got really fast. I had to improve a lot, and I'm always really focused, and I really try to improve games the best way possible. So first of all, no traction control and everything off and stuff like that, and then train, and try to already have good times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward.
You're both experienced in real cars as well, right?
Yeah, got to test last year actually in the United States. Was an awesome experience. Can't wait to do it again. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, nothing that serious. But I had a lot of laps on the Nordschleife with my private car, a bit tuned for that. But yeah. Yeah, it was just an awesome feeling, around 50 laps or something on the Nordschleife with coaching and stuff like that as well. So it got me pretty pumped. I was always in love with racing.
That sounds very serious, actually.
Yeah, I was into it. I'm still into it. Still getting mostly race cars, basically, or more sporty cars, because it's just a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's a great sport, obviously. And Max, I mean, and of course, Kevin, you too. You have your favorite Sims games, of course. And how does it make you feel to not be able to drive yourself in your, well, discipline?
Yeah, on the one hand side, I'm frustrated because I wanted to show Kevin how it's done, but now I can't. So we have to drive in Mario Kart. But it's gonna be.
Now I will show you how to do Mario Kart. A lot of
fine.
training, a lot of practice already. 3 years waiting for this moment. I'm ready.
Oh, that sounds very, very focused. And guys, you see, we're not leaving anything up for, well, yeah, for grabs. Everything is being fought for, and it's gonna be a great evening for tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. We already spoiled a little bit about the show. We told you guys at home that there will be 7 different matchups, 7 different races, and of course 7 different platforms to actually, well, complete the race in. And you guys have obviously your teams, and you will, of course, race yourself as well over here in my studio, over there at the Switch in Mario Kart 8. We already told you. But to piece it all together, let's have a look on our video that tells you everything you need to know about today. Enjoy.
7 challenges, 2 teams, 1 title. In 7 racing games, our competitors give it their all for glory and honor at the OverTake Clash of Racers. Each team is represented by 1 driver per game. The rules are adapted for each game individually. The winner gets 6 points for the challenge, the loser 4. But there's more. The community has the power to award 1 point per game by voting. If somebody loses but wins the heart of the audience, they can still mitigate the impact of losing. On top of that, each team has a joker which they can use only once, giving them a 3-second advantage in a race of their choice. After 6 games, there will be a clash between the team captains in the studio, fighting for double the points. As a result, the captains can still turn tides and secure their team's victory. The team which wins most points becomes the Clash of Racers champion. Let the games begin.
So, 7 games: iRacing, Formula 1, Assetto Corsa Competizione, Trackmania, Forza, Gran Turismo Sport actually, and Mario Kart 8. Wow.
The best game.
The best game.
Until,
Without any doubt, the best game, correct. About simulations and stuff like that, let's not get too deep into it. There is a lot of nice platforms and ways to actually compete, and we're gonna see a lot of them tonight, and I'm really excited. And as you guys already picked up from the video, there will be points for each win. 6 points for the winning team, 4 points for the loser, and of course the community vote, where you have to get involved, where you have to get active and actually vote for your favorite team to give them that one vital point. Even if they lose, they can still get your point. So you have to get involved, and it looks like this. So it's no one has actually voted yet. It's just to show you how it looks.
It look like that later as well.
You think so? We will see that later on. I will tell you as soon as the vote is live, and then you have to get active in Twitch chat. So if you're watching full screen, to make sure you pull in the chat to get involved in our vote. And of course, do not forget to head over to Instagram and Twitter for the raffle and the behind-the-scene looks and everything. So I will keep reminding you. And of course, OverTake challenge. Send us your tweets. I love reading from you. So it is time, guys, to introduce the very, very first team. And it's going to be very exciting to see that lineup, that very high-stacked lineup. Both teams are doing actually great when it comes to names and racing abilities. But I would say let's have a look on Team Red.
Commentator, driver, one of the biggest influences in esports racing, and he still lives in a shed. Of course, it's the one and only Jimmy Broadbent.
Hey guys, Jimmy here, and welcome back.
But he's not just a well-known face. If you need somebody who plays any game on a high level, you want him on your team. GT Sport, F1, iRacing, and many more. He's up for every challenge.
Oh, this thing is stupid. A couple of wall taps along the way, but this thing just can't get round the hairpin even. Nothing but he can, I swear. But sub 1 minute lap at Monaco. I think that counts as smashing the record, but that is absolutely mad.
But Jimmy's not the only racer who's keen on competing. Cem Bolukbasi is a racer who combines the best of both worlds. He started off as a real racer, but later on also took part in the F1 esports series.
A year later, I kind of stopped racing. F1 esports was announced, and that was like a massive turnover for me, because I said if I can't race it in real tracks, I might as well just race it on virtual tracks. And yeah, since 2017 F1 esports was announced, my life has basically changed, because I started off I basically turned into a sim racer, and then I had the chance to work with one of the best esports teams in the world, G2 Esports, and also two-time F1 world champion Fernando Alonso.
But he's not the only one on this team with experience in both worlds. Charlie Martin has one goal. She wants to be the first transgender woman ever to compete at the most famous endurance race of the world, Le Mans. But that's not all. She's a content creator, took her first steps in esports, but most importantly, she's an ambassador for Racing Pride.
When you look at motorsport, okay, there's not a lot of diversity. It is a very traditional sport, and I feel like I'm proud of what I've tried to contribute in the last few years in terms of being visible and sharing my story.
Indeed, there's nobody like her. She's a woman with many talents in a formidable squad. Jimmy, Cem and Charlie. Max Benecke has the perfect support for the clash of racers.
And of course, Harmonic, our wildcard winner, is also part of Team Red, which is Max, the captain. Max, how do you feel about your team?
Great. I mean, I saw the announcement of the team and I thought that's a good team to win this. So it's looking fantastic. Just need to deliver, and then I think we're good.
That would be the hard part.
That will be the hard part. I love the chemistry going on between you guys. I love the
It's competition.
fighting and the competition. Yeah, I see. Esports guys through and through with the esports gene deeply implemented in your hearts. That's how we love it, guys. And of course, we not have only brought you. You
The
have
winner
a
team.
team
Yes.
yourself as
Winner
well.
team, thank you.
The
Yeah.
winner team, you
Yes.
say. We will see about that later. We still have a
will
few
be short.
races to. You will be sure. Okay, guys. We can actually close it. No, just kidding. Kevin,
I want to see the races.
let's have a look
Yeah.
on your team. I would say, right?
Yes.
Team Green.
World's fastest gamer. Only 2 players have ever been honoured with this title, and one of them is James Baldwin. While some would consider this feat a peak in any career, for him it was just the beginning.
Like F1 esports and Gran Turismo, all that kind of stuff, that's just as credible. And that's something I'm trying to go into and win now. But, there's going to be loads of competitions going out in the future. And I actually said to my friend the other day, I wish I was born 10 years later, just because it's going to be booming, I reckon, around then. Whereas we're in the early days still. So, we'll just wait and see.
James Baldwin is a huge asset for his team for sure. By his side are 2 talented competitors, Maxime MXM and Dave Gaming. Maxime is an expert in virtual Formula 1. The Dutch driver is a popular content creator, but she also races against the best in her field.
Hello guys! Welcome to my channel. This was a pretty intense race, but we've beaten Maddie really quick. Robert Doornbos, Nico Rosberg, David Coulthard, Roberto Carlos, and Seen Through Glass, also a great YouTuber. Damn!
The Heineken Legends race proved it. Maxime isn't just a content creator, she's a great pilot with a goal of winning every race. The last driver is a racing expert, content creator, and our hardware review host. Of course, we're talking about Dave Gaming.
Alright Leute, let's go! Moin moin ihr Lieben und willkommen zu einem kleinen feinen Video. Do you really need a racing wheel to be competitive? Or is a gamepad already enough? We'll find out.
He's one of the biggest German YouTubers in esports racing, with incredible expertise in F1, ACC, Gran Turismo, and our host of the hardware review.
So guys, that was it for this week. In our next episode, we will have a look at the best racing wheels money can buy, and see you guys again next time. Bye.
Competing against the likes of Leclerc and Norris in events such as Not the Monaco GP is daily business for him. He's cool, he's ready, and he completes our team. James, Maxine and Dave, the trio that scares every opponent.
And of course, our wildcard winner, Kami, as well, to top things off. How do you feel about your team?
Pretty good. I think they're all super fast. Kami as well, I heard he's a very fast driver. So I'm pretty confident. Look at them. It's just a winner team.
We will see about that once again, but Max is already smirking and thinking.
I don't agree.
He's not so happy with those exclamations, but we will see how things go. And we're just at the beginning. Things will get heat it up very, very soon. It's already really hot in our studio, so and on the track it will get even hotter. So I'm really looking forward to all the matches that we're gonna see, and of course all the races that we're gonna see. And I mean, Kevin, the Formula One title is one of your most preferred titles out there, one of your favorite disciplines. How do you feel about the choice of driver who's going to represent your team in this discipline?
I think with Maxime is very, very good. She's very fast, and I mean, I would have liked to beat Max here in Formula One, but it's okay. I would do it in Mario Kart. So I think we have really great drivers for each game. I'm just ready to see them race.
Yeah, and we're gonna start with iRacing.
Yeah, wish I could race there, but no. But Cem is good. Cem will do his job properly, and I'm sure we will have a good result at the end.
And I would say let's have a closer look on iRacing. Have fun.
It's the #1 in the sim racing world. iRacing has been setting standards for realism on the virtual racetrack since 2008. The special thing about it? Sims usually offer an extensive single-player campaign and an online multiplayer, but not iRacing. It's all about intense and fair races against drivers from all over the world. The racing game relies solely on its online multiplayer mode. In addition to realism, fairness is key. Anyone who constantly pushes other drivers off the track will eventually be forced to take a break. The so-called safety rating is also important in order to advance in the license classes. Nowadays, there are huge tournaments in iRacing, like the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series or the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup, with prize pools in the 6 figures. And it's not uncommon for drivers from classic motorsports to be involved as well. Another reason why iRacing is one of the leading sim racing games out there.
If you're interested in esports racing, you can't get past iRacing, right, Max?
Absolutely. It's more expensive than others, but it's definitely worth it.
Well, what makes iRacing so special?
It's the physics, it's the matchmaking system. You have a ranking system with license classes with iRating. It's basically the points you get for each race you're doing. So that's what it's all about, the competition, driving day and night whenever you want, and it's just so much fun.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward for the race. And I mean, Cem Bolukbasi and James Baldwin both are ready at the microphone with our netman, Tom. Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, Melly. I'm just trying to get the aerial in my headset like I am actually in the pit lane. Right, here we are then. Cem Bolukbasi, or as Bolukbasi, as we found out, that is the proper pronunciation. And I'm joined by James Baldwin. Now, a lot of pressure is on your shoulders, Cem. I'm going to come to you first. And this is to everybody out there right now who's watching. Don't forget to take part in the poll at the moment, because if you want to support Cem, you know what you need to do. Get involved, and that could give Cem a chance of getting an extra point, and the same applies to James as well. But Cem, Bolukbasi or Bolukbasi, what is the meaning of Bolukbasi? Come on, explain this to everyone.
I mean, so the real way to pronounce it is Bolukbasi, but obviously it's a difficult surname. I have to admit, it's not the easiest surname out there. So I'm quite used to hearing Bolukbasi, but it kind of means like the head or the leader of a pack, let's say, or a small army. So. Okay. Yeah, I'm not the team captain today, but technically I am I have been the team captain someday because they gave me the surname.
Okay, well, look at that. Well, Max Benecke has said that he expects you to do very well. Is iRacing your normal discipline? Are you normally on the iRacer?
I mean, I've been on iRacing for a very long time. It's been my first discipline, but then I switched over to games like F1, Assetto Corsa, maybe other games. But also I have a lot of experience on iRacing. Not specifically on this car, but I really enjoy iRacing. So I think this would be a good matchup.
And way back in the day when we were having a little chat on Nitro Nights, I found out that kev1n, you told him to get on iRacing, and look at that guy now. So a lot of sort of hats off to you. But there in the corner of the screen is the one and only Mr. James Baldwin, representing Team Green today. Are you a little bit nervous? I heard earlier Cem was giving you a bit of a hard time about sweating already, James.
Yeah, mind games are key, aren't they? But yeah, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. We had a good race a few weeks ago in the GP where he beat me by a 10th. So hopefully I can beat him by a 10th today. That'd be nice.
Yeah, now you two have gone head-to-head in the Veloce, not the virtual Grand Prix. And obviously in Baku, I remember that vividly. What a race it was. What do you take from that race, James?
Yeah, it was. Well, I kind of played it wrong, to be honest. I thought if I just get a mad exit off the final corner, I could get him. But yeah, I judged it wrong. But this is a completely different task today, Laguna Seca, in not my favorite car. I think Cem would agree. The Porsche is not the nicest car in the world, but it's a challenge. So yeah, it should make for some good racing.
Indeed. And obviously going up against Cem, you've had some good battles. Are you expecting him to go easy today, to have fun, or is he definitely going to be competitive?
Wow, I think, yeah, he's already explained his name and what it means, so I think we're going to see a competitive Cem today.
and obviously this is our first race. Are you feeling any pressure for the rest of the show?
Yeah, well, yeah, we got to start off well, haven't we? But the fact is we get 4 points even if we lose, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah,
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
That shouldn't be the spirit.
I've got it, don't worry.
I'm not biased, but that shouldn't be the spirit, James. And you should know better. Because as the fast... Say again?
I'm chillaxed, don't worry.
Okay, perfect. That's a perfect mindset. I just got a heads up by race control. The race is almost ready, so we have to send our racers off on the service to get things ready. But first of all, we're back at me. Perfect. I was about to talk a little to Tom because he already mentioned that you guys at home, it is now your time to shine. It is now the perfect moment for you guys at home to get involved, get your votes in for your favorite team, for your favorite racer, to make sure to send your team that vital 1 point. It seems, well, at first glance, it seems like very little, but if you have a closer look on all the races that we're going to experience tonight, it's going to be 7 points.
Yeah, it's very important. Those 7 points are majorly important. We need them. We need them. So please, Team Red, vote.
Kevin, some words towards the audience. Why should they vote for your racer?
I mean, they have to choose anyway, and I think they will do the right decision. No, I'm just hoping the races will be really good, and I think the points will matter, but I think the performance will be the main key, the key part.
That your team will obviously bring. Obviously. Of course, I got that. As the same as your team, Max, to be honest.
I'm not going to say we're going to lose.
We're going to win well, we're all winners. That's the beauty of it. But at the end, there's going to be a W on one side, and we'll figure it out throughout the night, and I'm really excited to see how things are going. And Max, iRacing is a very, very complicated platform.
Yeah, it's not the most easiest one. Yeah.
But you are actually helping people to get into iRacing with your format over at overtake.gg.
Yes, exactly. Tutorial videos out there, already 4 episodes, I think, which done by me. You can learn everything from starting from zero, basically, as an amateur, not knowing what exactly you should do, driving line, and then at the end, in the 4th episode, getting a bit more into details with how to set up a car, how to make it even faster, how to adapt it to your driving style. So lots of things to learn. So if you want to check it out, do it on overtake.gg.
Later, not now. Now you have to stay here. Yeah. Because we're almost ready to jump in our first race. Almost. Maybe it is time to check in with our caster who's already waiting in the wings to bring you the best racing experience out there. Lee, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. I'm ready to go. And I think I'm more ready to go than James was. He's quite happily chillaxing, as he puts it. It's a phrase that's always come in there. But big words between Cem. I think Cem seems to be up for it a bit more. I'm not too sure. I got to be honest. If I was Kevin, I'd be a little bit worried that James is kind of maybe not ready to go in iRacing here. This is your show pony. This is your main man. This is the world's fastest gamer.
Maybe
and he's just chilling.
Maybe he's trying to bait him a little so Cem underestimates James, maybe?
The tactics.
I'm not sure he underestimates him because, as he said, he did lose to him in not the Monaco Grand Prix just 2 weeks ago now, I think it was. Also, obviously, these guys, they've played a lot of games. We heard from Cem that he's played a bunch of iRacing, Played a bunch across from F1 to 2019 is what he's going at the moment. The race is almost ready to go. Don't worry, guys. We're just getting ready to go in there. But Melly, I'm going to put you on the spot. You've got the two captains on your couch. Who's going to win it?
Oh my God, me? Oh, well, my role is to be unbiased, you know? I'm the host of the show, and I'm not allowed to pick favorites, obviously.
All right. I mean, I got to go in with James because as he is the world's fastest gamer.
I'm going obviously with Cem because, I mean,
that would make
go
sense.
Turkey.
Well, the races are ready to go. It is going to be iRacing to start things off. As you can see, they are in the Porsche 911. It is the GT3 Cup car, and it is Laguna Seca. And as you can see, one's in the red team, one is in the green team, but very easy to spot who is who. Obviously, green is James Baldwin for Kevin's team, and red currently in the lead is Cem. And just explain his surname there. He is the leader, apparently, leader of men. Well, he's the leader of this race right now. But as you can see, James is already looking to tuck up the inside. They've got a left-hander here. They're going to go up the hill now into a rather gentle left-hander that kind of dips away as they continue to climb the hill up into that horrific corkscrew, which is a corner that if you are new to iRacing and certainly new to the Porsches, will 100% catch you out. But these guys are experts. I'm putting them on the spot here. Will they make a mess? Oh, he's getting twitchy. That's the corkscrew right there, ladies and gentlemen. It sends Cem scurrying into the dirt, and James Baldwin goes screaming through into the lead. Now, will he make mistakes? I can tell you, we had a little rehearsal for this, and we saw these guys. And we just heard James and Cem talking about it, not their favorite cars. And that's because they were getting a bit antsy when it comes into the corner. And I'm talking about this one. Just after the start-finish straight, you build up all of the speed. And as soon as they get into that corner, it's a hard left-hander. You've got to get hard on the brakes. And these Porsches, that rear end wants to overtake you. It wants to get in front of you. And sometimes it gets a little squirrely, and it will catch them out. But it looks like they've both managed to make it through this time around. So it's down to Cem now to try and put the paces. It is going to be a 5-lap race. We've already completed one of those laps, as you can see, as the guys begin to chase, and Cem needs to put his foot down. And considering he went off the track, he hasn't really lost too much ground, so he's managed to keep up. And remember, you guys at home can get involved in this one. Hashtag OverTake Challenge. Don't forget, you can give them an extra point. It is 6 points for the winner, 4 points for the loser, but you can give that extra point. Will you give it to the winner? Will you give him 7 points? Will you give him that 3-point lead early on? Wouldn't that be beautiful at the moment? I think Kevin would be happy with that. He seems very confident in his man. World's fastest gamer behind the wheel is doing very well, but Cem takes it much better this time around. Does look like he has some damage. No, I was just wondering. I thought he maybe had some damage to his right wing there, but he hasn't. So he's perfectly fine as he tries to play catch-up right now, but James is not making a mistake, and that's what Cem's needing. But it does look to me, I mean, I don't have any timing splits, but he is definitely getting closer to James now. James maybe just took his foot off the gas a little bit as he starts the 3rd lap of the race. So, as I say, this is the dangerous corner. He can go hard on the brakes, and looks like James is taking it nice and calm, nice and casual, not going too heavy, but you can see he's losing quite a bit of time here. Cem is definitely gaining, but he's running out of time. He's got to start chasing. James is big smile on his face, enjoying himself in this race. That's what I like to see. It is all about fun, of course. You guys at home, the Clash of Racers is being hosted by OverTake. Check it out, OverTake GG. New site, and you can see. I want to see Dave's steering wheel wall once again. He's going to be coming up later on. Dave Gaming, checking out all that hardware. He's got racks of steering wheels, but Cem, he is on a mission. He is definitely gaining time on James Baldwin here as he comes once again up to the corkscrew that undid him in the 1st lap. It is such a tricky chicane to go through. If you dip it just a little too tight, but if you catch it, it's so sweet. James, unfortunately for Cem, did completely nail it there, and he's managed to gain a little bit of time as he pulls ahead once again. The end of the 3rd lap here, and Cem, while he's gaining ground, is running out of time to try and catch up here. He's definitely gained a lot of time on him. Now, James has been taking it nice and easy into this corner, the 1st corner here. It's a tight tight left-hander. It's almost like a double left-hander. It sort of straightens up a little bit, and he's taking the apex absolutely perfectly. But you can see Cem is definitely gaining, but is he going to be quick enough? He's going to have to get a little rash now and start to send. He's got nothing to lose, I would say, in the next 2 laps to really just go for it. And James talked about how there was just a 1/10 of a second between them last time they raced. This looks like it may well go the same way. But Cem needs to really put his foot down now as we are on the 4th lap. Up the hill, going onto the left-hander. Say it fades away just a little bit, but you can take it pretty darn quick. You've got to be careful on that corner though. You don't go too fast as they go once again up the hill towards the corkscrew. The corner that can undo them all. James takes it nice and calmly. That's a chance for Cem to really gain some ground, which he is doing, but it's just not enough. Running out of time. The 5th lap approaching. As he tries everything he can, Cem, to try and gain the ground, but James is having none of it. Clearly gained the margin. You can see trying to cut as much as humanly can. Of course, the game won't let you go completely cutting. Will put you penalties on you, but he has definitely gained. Will James make an error? Or will Cem have to really launch it into the corner here? Looks like it's going to be a clean one. Look how much he's gained, though. He's really worked for him. If he'd had a couple more laps, I think he'd absolutely be on this tail, but time is running out. That one simple mistake is all that cost him. On the 1st lap, Cem was leading. Made an error at the corkscrew, but we're still going to go through it again. Definitely gaining a lot of ground now. He's really going for it. Trying to do what he can in this Porsche 911. And here's the GT3 Cup Edition. Bags of power. Oh, he's getting really antsy now. You can see he's trying to put everything into this one. As once again we come into the corkscrew. The question is, will James take it cleanly? Yes, he will. Cem's really going to try and send it, but it's not going to be enough. Cem, whoa, just about takes it very nicely. He's gained so much ground, but James Baldwin, he is ice cool and calm, chillaxing in his seat as he drives around. Got the best of gear, and it is taking him into the lead, and it will be 6 points, it seems, going to kev1n, and Team Green will take the victory here. Cem will take 2nd place. Of course, you guys at home, don't forget, vote OverTake Challenge hashtag, and it will, of course, decide who will get that extra point. But the first race will go to Team Green. Fantastic stuff overall, and it's just all about one little mistake, Melly. That's all it was.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a really, really sad situation in the Laguna Seca corkscrew. Max, what has happened?
Cold tires, I guess, just messed up his braking, and then suddenly he went off. But he had a good run afterwards, closing up. One more lap, maybe he would have been at the back of James. So well done still. And now community vote.
Exactly. So the vote is not over just yet. You still have the chance to vote for your favorite team. Doesn't matter who won the race. It was actually Team Green, but your time is still on, so go get involved in the Twitch chat. You will see our straw poll. Get involved, and maybe your team will get that vital last point. Because currently it's standing 6-4 for Team Green. And I mean, how hard is it, Max, to keep your mindset focused after such a happening, like in the corkscrew?
It's hard, definitely, but a professional sim racer, a professional racer can do that. You make this mistake, you know you did it, and then you just focus on getting back. And that's what Cem did, so he didn't have an issue with it. He knew he messed it up, and in the end, focus, and that's what you practice. It just doesn't come just with one race. It happens after you did the 10th, the 20th mistake, and then you learn it, and that's how you just do it with experience.
Kev1n, how happy are you with your win?
Very happy. When I saw Cem already like turning away out of the corner, I was like, yes. But I think James, he had the normal pace. I think Cem had a faster pace, but I think James was doing it safe. Safe, no mistakes, and easy win.
Slow and steady wins the race. That's what Nick Tandy told me on the Porsche Sim Racing Summit 2 years ago, and he was right, as we saw. And I mean, we're currently seeing our beautiful overall standing graphics with all the races that are waiting ahead of us. You guys at home asked a few times, what matches are we going to see? What races are we going to see? We just saw iRacing. Next up is Formula 1, then Assetto Corsa Competizione, then Trackmania Stadium, Forza 7, and Gran Turismo Sport, and of course,
the best game ever.
The best game ever, like Kevin likes to call it. Mario Kart 8, blue shells all the way, baby. Oh God, I hate that item so much because I'm usually leading the pack, you know. It always gets me.
Why are you not on Team Red then? This would be much easier.
Oh, Max, you're not very experienced in Mario Kart, aren't you?
We both aren't, so...
But it's going to be fun anyways, because we also have a funny idea to spice things up in Mario Kart 8. I can actually spoil it a little, because we have the Don't Drink and Drive challenge. So when competing in Mario Kart later on for the double amount of points, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, you have to actually clear your green or red drink before the race finishes, and you have to stop twice.
Okay.
And by the way, I just want to remind you guys that you still have your jokers that you can put in place. You can give your team member a 3 seconds head start. We haven't mentioned that yet, besides in the format video, by the way. So keep that in mind. I just want to remind you for that. Maybe it's something you want to use in Formula 1, but Maxime is a very solid driver as well. But you will know what you're doing. So guys, the vote is over. Thank you so much for getting involved. And Tom is already down in the pit lane with our 2 races.
Yeah, thank you very much, Melly. Yes, listen, it doesn't matter. Even if Jem would have been given that 3 second head start, it still wouldn't have helped him because the corkscrew came out of nowhere. Jem, congratulations to James, but Cem Bolukbasi, talk to me about what happened. It was a great race. However, just one mistake, and Max Benecke said you had a lot of focus, which is a backhanded compliment, but you managed to spin out a little bit. Talk us through the race.
I mean, some unexpected things have happened, I must admit. I mean, the car is very tricky under braking, so I was already quite careful into turn 1. But when I saw corkscrew, I just touched the brakes and I just felt the car do a 360. Luckily enough, I managed to save the car, and I was only 2 seconds behind James. So I was like, okay, let's just keep on going. And then I tried to catch as much as I can, but the 5 laps was obviously not enough to catch someone as fast as James. But obviously, I mean, simple mistakes cost you the win in races like these.
Indeed, they do. However, it was great to know that your captain is still backing you there with your focus. James, though, on the other hand, sweaty palms obviously were the difference. And you'll notice I'm wearing the green pen now. I was before, but that was the prediction. And I got it absolutely spot on. Congratulations on winning.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, that was, I feel like I've made up for my pre-race comment of the 4 points for losing type thing. I thought there was not a lot of confidence in me after I said that. But yeah, I said to Cem, I don't know how he kept that out of the barrier. I thought he was a goner. So that was a good race. If he didn't make that mistake, I think it would have been really, really close. So kind of a shame, but still good.
Yeah, indeed. Now, just for anyone who's an avid sim racing fan, obviously the amount of time you would have liked to have put into getting behind the Porsche 911, how much time would you normally give yourself?
I mean, if it was like a proper esports race, you'd put hours and hours into it. But I think we both put a matter of minutes into it. So yeah, it was a really good race. I think we were both really close on pace. So I said, if he didn't make the mistake, it would have been 5 laps of pure battling out and all that kind of stuff. But really good race.
Yeah, indeed. And I feel like you've done your team proud there. I mean, Maxime's coming up. We've got Dave Gaming. Just out of curiosity, James, because we did see it earlier on, and he's got a lot of steering wheel. He's got a lot of wheels in the backdrop. How many racing wheels is an acceptable amount, James?
Well, it does seem like he's compensating for something else, Tom, doesn't it? But I don't know. It's up to him, isn't it? But he's got a lot of wheels, a lot more than I have. I have about 4 or 5, but he's definitely in the 20s. So
Yeah. Fair enough. Jem, how many wheels do you have?
I think I have one. I think so. I think I have one. Yeah. I mean,
What do
you
we
use
need?
one for driving. I don't know why you would need 28 different steering wheels. To be honest.
I mean, it's the same with shoes, isn't it? You can't have too many. You just, well, if you have the space for it, go for it, right?
That's true. I mean, we're all saying that because we're all jealous of his 29
I was about to say, guys, thank you so much. Tom, thank you so much. We're going to talk to you a little later on for the social media update. And of course, Cem Bolukbasi and James Baldwin, thank you so much for that amazing first race. Sadly, with that tiny situation that led to actually Cem trying to catch on to James,
Thank you, Cem.
which he actually did really, really well. And Lee already mentioned that if he would have had a few laps more, he could have actually made it.
Yeah, it was close though. Obviously, the car doesn't give you a lot of a slipstream, so it's very hard to overtake. Closing the gap is always easy, but then overtaking is really hard. So we don't know what would have happened. You should have stayed in the lead.
So, Cem, you hear your team captain is not quite happy with your performance, but we will see. Maybe you'll bring it to 5 points after a community vote. I would say, guys, let's have a look how the vote actually. Oh, there we go. Currently 5 for Team Red, Cem Bolukbasi with 68%.
68. That's good. That's good.
It's good. 18% more than 50 on air math is really hard. That's why I try to not do it. But for you guys, I'll take the chance actually. But yeah, 68% for Team Red, which is actually a fantastic score. Thank you so much for you guys at home for getting involved. Keep on doing so. As soon as we're about to head into the next race, the next vote will be open. And I count on you to get involved as much as possible. And while we're at it, have a closer look on Instagram. Check out our Instagram stories because we're providing you a valuable look behind the scenes, things you usually don't get to see, like us talents getting ready for the show, or maybe even the pre-show briefing and rundown meeting. So everything is in there. Go have a closer look. You might see me sitting in the makeup room as well. So it's quite fun, things you usually don't get to see. And that was a nice first race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, nicer for one team than the other, but...
You got the extra point, so...
Yeah, I mean, you at least got the community vote in. That's something very good as well. And we're not done just yet. We still have 6 more races to go, with the final race, you guys being at the Nintendo Switch playing Mario Kart 8. It's gonna be a party. There's nothing else to add.
The bananas.
Yeah, bananas, exactly. So I would say let's have a closer look on our second discipline of the day, Formula One.
Vettel, Hamilton, and legends such as Alain Prost or Ayrton Senna. For the best Formula One experience in esports racing, there's only one game, F1 2019. The game by Codemasters is the official video game for Formula 1 and 2. Not only does it feature all the racing tracks and drivers of the circuits, but actual interview sessions convey the most immersive feeling of the competition. With excellent ratings from all reputable gaming sites, F1 2019 has proved that it's one of the best games of the year. F1 2019 is also essential in esports racing. Its World Championship, the F1 Esports Series, is one of the most popular esports racing leagues. On top of that, during the pandemic, the Not the GP format was the perfect replacement for the real Formula One races around the world. No matter if you're a casual gamer or an aspiring professional who wants to beat the records of the best Formula One drivers, F1 2019 is without a doubt one of the best racing games out there.
One of the best games out there. Do you guys agree?
It's a good game. Not one of the best, but it's a good game. It's a good starting point. It's not the most expensive, and it's enjoyable, and it has all the licenses. So I started with it as well, and I can definitely agree that it's a very good starting point into sim racing.
We already spoke about it at the beginning of the show. You're quite a Formula One enthusiast, not only the digital version as well, but also the traditional version. When have you started to follow motorsports in general?
Well, I started with some DTM and stuff like that, but that's just step by step. I was sometimes watching, sometimes I wasn't really interested into it. It was just changing. But right now I'm really into Formula 1, and I will start watching as well because I know the tracks now. I know how they work, how the stops are, how they have to actually have a tactic behind that, and all that. So I'm gonna definitely watch some races when they start again.
Perfect. So Formula 1 is a game that has a very low entry barrier. How important is that for esports racing?
It's very important. It's opening the doors for a lot of people to just try it out and see if they like it. And it brings more people into it, bigger competition, and then after that they start spreading out to different titles, and that's good for all of the other games out there. So it's very important that the entry level at least is very low.
Speaking of beginning of good things, this is our very first stream on our brand new OverTake _GG Twitch channel. So guys, if you're watching and if you're enjoying the show so far, make sure to hit that follow button and to stay with us to get notifications as soon as something new is happening over here. And while we're at it, go have a look over at Instagram and of course Twitter. Get involved in our community voting as well. And Tom is already ready with our next two contenders, who are no one less than Jimmy Broadbent and Maxime.
There they are, getting ready. We've got the Shed Dweller up in the top screen and Maxime as well. Guys, I've already seen the Discord chat has been going on between you two. A lot of banter to start with. Maxime, what is it that's been going on? Are you ready to race, Jimmy?
Yeah, I know Jimmy for a while, and we have been to a lot of events, but it's great to now finally race against him, and I will try my best to beat him as well, so
Yeah, and we just heard there about the entry level for the F1 2019 game the Codemasters have made. It is a difficult or can be challenging. I mean, what's your level? Because I think you were saying that Jimmy was off the pace a little bit.
Jimmy, I was like getting in a slipstream, and we're going in Eau Rouge and Over Ready, and yeah, I bumped into him there. So we had a little accident in the test, but hopefully we won't have that at the race. And yeah, my level, I'm not the best, but I'm having a lot of fun, and hopefully I'm quick enough to beat the boy, Jimmer.
Yeah, indeed, Jimmy. Well, listen, welcome to the show. Great to have you on board. I've been watching you all season in the virtual Grand Prix that you took part in. How's the year been for you so far in terms of sim racing?
Busy, I think it's fair to say. I mean, I keep getting chucked into all these different simulators, and the kind of the old phrase "jack of all trades, master of none" comes to mind. So I'm going to just try and stay off the track, I think. I have told Max a bit earlier on that if she does get ahead, I'm going to have to take her off the course, you know, as is correct. So
yeah, standard procedure. And do you agree with that? With the F1 2019 game and sim, it's easy to get into. It's more of a game in many respects, but you are sim racing.
Yeah, I think it has different levels. You know, you can go and turn all the assists on and make things as easy or as hard as you like. I'm one of those proper nerds that goes, now I can't possibly have traction control. That's not realistic. And then I find myself spinning off every corner. So, but yeah, you can do what you like with it.
Yeah, okay. And obviously feeling confident about this race. Do you feel like you're going to be bringing home the 6 points for the red team?
I'll just say yeah. It doesn't matter if I am or not, right? Yeah, definitely. Max loves it. I can see him in the top. Thank you, Max, team leader as well. Shake of the head. Don't need that, mate. Don't need that from you. Need confidence.
Come on, go for it. You're going to win it. Easy.
But do you feel like Max, I mean, he was debating whether he'd give you the Joker, he'd give you a 3-second boost. Do you think you'd need that?
I wasn't.
I mean, I'll take it.
No one took the Joker. We're all good here. So both team captains have full faith in their races. Maxime and Jimmy, you're going to do great, I'm pretty sure. So let me hype you up a little if your team captains are not saying or contributing anything towards it. You're going to do great. We're going to have a lot of fun in Formula 1, and you guys have to get ready for the race. So head over to your sims. Well, Maxime was already, both of them were already sitting in there. So log in, and we're almost ready to go. Guys, they're in a good mood.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a fun competition, I think, especially if you know the other person. And especially in such event, it's always super fun and you want to win. I think they both want to win. And I think they will take it quite seriously as well.
Well, we heard something in the lines of, "Well, I'll shoot you off the track." Do you think something like that will happen?
No, never happened before. Won't happen today. It's going to be clean, and we are going to get the 6 points. At the end.
Exactly. I mean, we have race control here, so they have to play along the rules.
Exactly.
But I don't doubt that. So it's going to be a great race, which is waiting ahead of us. Lee is also almost ready. Lee, how's it going over there in the studio?
Very good, yeah. I mean, Jimmy, he's done it to Lando Norris, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tries it on Maxime if he falls behind. We'll never know, that's what he's aiming at. But at the moment, obviously, I would say Jimmy's obviously had a lot of experience. He said it himself, he alluded to himself. He's been racing in just about every single thing out there. There's been so many races with all these superstars, and every time Jimmy fans are in there. They're always in there. So I wouldn't be surprised if the chat's getting flooded. And I'm sorry, Maxime, you might be outvoted on this one. You've got a nice following on YouTube, but I've got a feeling the Jimmy fans are going to be hard on the points for this one.
But you know what they say about the underdog, right?
Absolutely. I mean, don't not write Maxime off. I think she's actually coming into this one as maybe a sneaky underdog because everyone's going to be looking at Jimmy because he's been so popular across all these races. And he has done very well, I would say, for him. Obviously, he's not at a sim racing level. He's not at Max's level out there. But he has certainly performed very well in the chances he's had recently. And I like the thing on the side. He's got a little thing. It's okay to make mistakes. That was nice. So he's just prepping himself for this one.
As long as you don't do them twice, and as long as you make up for them. So that's the only allowance to actually do mistakes. But guys, well, I know. I actually prefer the position of the underdog. I mean, I'm competing myself in different disciplines. Back in the day, Counter-Strike. Now, of course, mainly equestrian. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to be the shining star everyone looks at, or do you rather? Would you rather choose the underdog situation? With you, Max, I mean, that ship has sailed, so if you enter a race...
Unfortunately, sometimes. It depends on the personality. If you can deal with it and if you can work on yourself to just accept that this is a situation and that you have to just perform and that you don't care about what other people think, then it's fine. But if you're a person that is just having issues with it and you need practice for it, then sometimes it's better to be the underdog. I like to be the underdog sometimes because then you just have also a bit of less pressure on the race, which is also good. But in general, when you're at the top level, people just expect you to perform and you have to completely not think about that anymore.
Kevin, with you, it's pretty much the same. You used to play on a very, very high level in a very well-known organization, and also saw the other side as well with entering with a new team mixed together with very, let's say, special characters, very skilled players, of course, as well. But what do you prefer?
I think the underdog was always fun because you could pull something out that was really funny, like a champion that was just special, and I think you could surprise a lot of people. And the hype after that, if you won, it was just amazing always because they didn't expect it. Otherwise, as Max said, you don't really have the pressure. Like they don't expect the fans or the people that watch it. They don't expect you to win. They just maybe expect a good game, good match, and that's what you want to give them as underdog.
But you guys expect your races to win, obviously. And of course, you guys at home can get involved by using the hashtag #OverTakeChallenge. Send us your tweets, your posts, your memes, your everything. So maybe we already have show memes. That would be awesome. I love that. Like screen caps with funny faces, just putting it out there. Maybe someone does it, maybe don't. Who knows? Use the hashtag #OverTakeChallenge to make sure that we say it. And of course, Tom is still with us. And Tom... Tom will be with us in just a second, but first of all, let's talk about the community vote. In our first round, in our first race, Team Red, with not winning the race, but taking home the community point and the community voting with a solid 68%, leaving only 32 to Team Green, a victorious team in this case, bringing the score to 6-5. So guys at home, if you haven't voted yet, head over. There's a link in Twitch chat. I have no idea how it looks like. press on it and you'll be forwarded to the vote. Get involved, and of course make sure that your favorite team gets that vital 1 point, 7 in total if you have if you see it on the whole picture. And the race is live, guys. Lee, it's your time to shine.
Thank you very much. And it's not my time to shine. It is Jimmy Broadbent and, of course, Maxime's time to shine. Let's get them in the game straight away. It is going to be F1 2019. It's 5 laps of Spa and a fantastic, fast-paced circuit, as we fully expect. And it is Jimmy, I believe, in the lead already. So we'll see how this lays out. As I say, it will be 5 laps. It is a default car setting, so everything's sort of set up for them. And we'll see how this one works out. Maxime already with a bit of work to do on the tail. But as I say, this is a very, very fast-paced circuit. Any F1 fans out there have maybe sort of slowly grown to it. And I think a couple of people alluded to it. Certainly, Kevin's obviously picked up F1 2019 lately. I think the Drive to Survive series on Netflix, if you haven't watched that, go and watch it. It will absolutely whet your appetite for the start of this race, the start of the season that will be coming in shortly. As they do chase at the moment, it does look like Maxime's dropping by. Let's have a quick look at the start of this race to see how it all kicked off from the beginning of the race. At the moment, Maxime is slowly dropping behind, so a time would be perfect to have a quick look at that. And don't forget, you guys at home can get involved in this one. Overtake challenge. Will Jimmy come out with 7 points? At the moment, he's leading nicely on Maxime. Or will you get behind Team Green and give Maxime, Team Red, I should say, and give Maxime the point? Here's the start. So it was Maxime on the pole, and Jimmy looks like he got a pretty even start. So it must have been into the first corner at the moment. You can see Maxime had a really nice start. Oh, just overshot the braking line. And that's what gave Jimmy the chance. Just a little too late on the brakes, and that's what put Jimmy in the lead. So it was all a simple start. It was a really nice start from Maxime off the line. It's just a shame she sort of outdid herself there on the brakes. So let's go back to see it live, exactly how it is. There's Jimmy pouring his heart into it. You can see he's giving it a fair bit. He's actually streaming this as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Both of these, Jimmy in his shed. But here we go. We're back on live now. You can see Maxime just a 1.5 behind, so outside of the DRS as well. So he really wants to try and get into that DRS zone to have a chance at the overtake. We'll need to be within a second for that. The F1 2019, and you know, everybody's said it is a really nice game to get yourself started. If you wanted to start moving into sim race, you don't need to be ultra hardcore, especially with F1 2019. You don't really need to have all the wheels and the rigs that these guys have got. Obviously, these rigs, they are very, very, very expensive, some of them. If you see that big Fanatec wheel at the helm, you know that they've spent a lot of money. But you don't need to go so crazy, especially with F1 2019. Hell, you could use keyboard and mouse, but I wouldn't advise it. You can also use your controller as well, and check out Dave Gaming. Obviously, he's put up a nice video out there. It's like, do you just need a controller, or do you need these big fancy wheels? Well, this is one of the games that you can bring yourself into it gently. You can have as many assists on as you like, and then slowly drop them down. That's when you know, when you really start getting into it. Get rid of the racing line. You can see, obviously, these guys don't have a racing line on it. There's no braking zones. There's no there's funny business. I'm assuming that they have maybe traction control on. As Jimmy liked to say, he's like, no traction control, but then he starts spinning everywhere. I would assume these guys may have it on. But Jimmy at the moment is still holding that lead. Maxime just 1.3 behind 1.5. So Jimmy just holding on to that lead. But you can see he's under pressure. He's very twitchy on the wheel at the moment. Just making sure he stays in control of the race. It was Maxime's error right at the start in that first corner that cost him. It's almost a mirror image of the previous race. Obviously, this time it was, last time it was Cem just out-braking himself and catching it just in time before he ended up in the barrier. on the corkscrew of Laguna Seca. This time Maxime on the very first corner from pole position. Just slightly outbraking. She's going to be kicking herself, but you can see she's regained composure, got herself back involved. We are already into lap 3. But unfortunately for Maxime, yeah, and she just realized, she just saw the interval drop from 1.5 to 1.8. That was why the hand came to her face saying, oh, I'm falling behind. Jimmer's on it today. You know, he has his good days and his bad days. But today looks like it's a good one. He's got his focus on. Good bit of pressure. He has been involved in so many of the races across, as he mentioned, across all the sims. You know, we're covering 7 different races today. He's been doing Assetto Corsa, obviously with iRacing in R Factor 32. He's been involved on obviously F1 2019 with the Not the GPs, constantly involved in those. As I mentioned, spearheaded or attempted to Lando Norris in one of those races. Didn't quite work out for him. It actually cost them a position in the end. And I think actually the old man himself, Paul Challoner, aka Red Eye, was also hot on his heels in that race as well. So, who took part in the iRacing 24-hour last night? Which, by the way, we didn't mention. Max actually took part in the iRacing 24-hour that finished today. He took part in 4 hours of it yesterday. So, forever the hardcore sim racer. I'm not too sure how that experience is going to bleed into Mario Kart later on, but maybe the blue shells will be required. 2-second gap now as Jimmy continues to stretch his lead. Now, don't forget, fans out there, get yourself voting. Hashtag Overtake Challenge on the Twitters and the social medias, and back your favorite driver. Try and give them that extra point. Wow, Jimmy is really putting his foot down now. He seems to have found his rhythm. You can see the big grin on his face, like a Cheshire cat. 2.5 seconds. And Maxime, unfortunately, has possibly made another error back there, but it is looking very strong for Jimmy right now as he goes over the line into the final lap. Will there be any errors? Doesn't look like it. Manages to keep himself in control. Doesn't outbrake himself. Through a ruse. Looking, oh, it's such a sweet part. Whoever remembers, it was Verstappen, wasn't it? Made a fantastic overtake there. Such a fast-paced circuit. And that is also the problem. And that's why Jimmy's waving. He knows. Well, you're in these sort of sections, you're almost flat out, and you simply put, you're not really going to overtake. It's only in the squiggly little corner sections, but for the majority of the Belgian Grand Prix, you are hard on the accelerator, flat out. You can see they're at the far end of the circuit now as he starts to wind his way back down the hill through the forest. Such a fantastic circuit. If you've never been able to get yourself to Spa, I heartily recommend it. Fantastic weekend of racing action, when of course we are all back to normality and it is permitted. Don't do it yet, ladies and gentlemen. I do not condone that. It does look like Jimmy's going to win this one out, barring any major errors. He's looking very confident as he comes over the line, and of course Jimmy, representing Team Green, will give them their 2nd victory if he is to sail over the line. He's doing a little dance, having a little fun. This one looks like it's in the bag. He will have another race later on GT Sport against his Butler pal teammate, Dave Racing Gaming, even, I get his name correctly, with all his wheels. Jimmy will take the victory. It was a simple victory for Jimmy in the end. It was Maxime that started off strong on pole position, but unfortunately outbraked herself on that very first corner, and Jimmy was not letting up with any of those mistakes. Solid race.
Absolutely solidly. Thank you so much for taking us through it. And guys, as Lee already mentioned, besides that one tiny crucial mistake by Maxime, it was a very solid race, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were both driving quite fast, and the one mistake in the first corner.
That's very unlucky, and then
It's okay.
then you keep on catching, trying to catch the guy in front of you. That's pretty much what we saw, but fantastic performance from both of the drivers. Maxime, of course, not allowing herself to make more mistakes due to the situation. And we can have a look on our overall standing, which looks quite different right now after a second race. It's currently 11-10, 11 for Team Red and 10 for Team Green. The community vote is still going, guys, so get involved. Head over into... Exactly, you could even it out. Like with that vital 1 point, you can actually bring it to 11 both. So... guys, get involved in Twitch chat. There is a straw poll link. Hit it and vote for your favorite team. All right, Tom is already ready with Jimmy and Maxime. Tom, can you hear me?
I can indeed, Melly. I can hear you. The studio sounds fantastic. I tell you what, that race sounded brilliant from the main man Demon. But these guys in front of me, Jimmy Broadbent, R4M_Tom on Twitch says, good job, Jimmy. Did it feel like a good job for you?
Oh, I mean, you know, it's what it is, you know, it's taking it easy, driving Sunday drive. Max, were you in the race? Were you there, mate? I didn't see you there. That's a nice pen you got there as well, Tom. I'm liking that. I'm liking that pen there, mate.
Well, listen, the red team needed the win. You got the 6 points, but I tell you what, it came down to turn 1, didn't it, Jimmy? But, you know, you kept having a smile on your face while you're racing. It was good to see that you're enjoying it.
It's just fun to take part in these events, you know. And whilst I joke, if I had made like one small mistake, Maxime would have been straight back there again. It's just one of those unfortunate things. You go down to T1, you think, oh yeah, the brake pedal works, and it works a bit too well, and you go straight off like that. So yeah. I've done like a billion times myself. So.
And on your wheel, there's a few knobs that were being played around with, Jimmy. What was going on into some of those straights? What were you doing there?
I'm just practicing for answering my girlfriend next.
Okay.
That's about it. That's about it. No. So this is ERS. We chatted between us at the start, and we said we were going to use manual ERS. So I was just doing that, basically trying to keep ahead, but not doing too well.
Okay. And listen, a lot of support for you, Maxime. It was a good race. Like Jimmy said, one mistake, you were right back in there. Where do you feel like if you were to race again, you would try and iron out the difference?
Well, just brake on time in the first corner. That would make it a better race and closer and more fun for everyone. But I was a bit too optimistic to brake a bit later to try to stay ahead, but that didn't work.
Yeah, but listen, a lot of support on Twitch and on the socials as well, willing you along, which is great to see. But obviously the straw poll is still there, so your team, the green team, can get that extra point. What would you say to your fans right now, Maxime?
Yeah, everybody please vote for Team Green. We need it. We really need it. So we need to make it even. So I know everybody loves Jimmer, but we really need it. So please.
I tell you what, I was willing along for a Punterino at one point. Listen, Jimmy, there's been a few socials that I'm going to let everybody know. But you're obviously watching it go on. Do you ever feel the pressure of all your fans? Because normally you struggle in qualifying, and yet when you save the best till the actual race, but today it just seemed to click immediately.
Well, I'm laughing because I spun in our qualifying session. I started second. So yeah, same as always, really. But yeah, there's always a bit of pressure. But you know, it's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. You know, it's the most important thing with sim racing a bit is to enjoy it. And if you're not enjoying it, then you got to figure out why that is.
Yeah,
and work on it.
And I must say, I'm very proud of Maxime because you have to risk it for the biscuit. So sometimes you have to try and make things work by trying new ways and getting that tiny advantage to actually win that race. Sadly, it didn't work out this time, but I'm very certain that it will work out in the future. Maxime, Jimmy, Tom, thank you so much for this lovely post-match interview, and best of luck to your teams throughout the next disciplines. But before that, the community vote is over. You just had the last few seconds to get involved. Kevin, you excited for the vote?
Yeah.
You don't sound excited.
Not sure.
You're not sure?
Can I see it?
Do you want to see it? Yeah. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a closer look on the community vote and how it turned out. In just a second, we will have the Maybe not. Okay, then it's just a little bit. I just wanted to keep it exciting for you guys. I just want to keep you on the edge of your seat. I was just trying to get your emotions in and get your hopes up, but haha, we still have to wait a little. Okay, but I mean, we saw very, very solid performance by both of the drivers. Of course, Max, how important is it to actually be the daredevil in a race?
It depends on the race. It depends on which championship you're driving. If it's a single race like this, obviously give everything, be the devil inside you, and try the best. Try to force the other one into a mistake. That's basically what happened here. But nonetheless, Maxime did a great job. She was always in like 2 seconds in a 7-8 minute race, so that's very good as well. We just profited from the early mistake. But Jimmy did a perfect job. I have to say that. Team Red, obviously, great stuff. So he did everything he could.
All right, Kevin. I don't think you'll be happy with the outcome of this community vote, actually. 75% for Team Green.
Yeah, I knew it.
No, just Team Red. Just kidding.
Oh, good.
Well, I get so many chances to be funny on a show, right? So I tried. This one didn't work. But, well, you laughed. That's fine, because it turned out in your favor. 75% for Team Red, bringing it to 12 points in total after 2 races, and 10 points for Team Green. Kevin,
I have a bad feeling for the community votes in the next games for me.
Are you sure?
Somehow.
Okay.
I think 7 points for Team Red.
It's fine. It's fine.
We'll figure it out. We're just at the start of the show.
Okay.
We're not halfway
We'll take
through.
some wins.
We just have 2 disciplines, exactly. So, and I mean, guys, maybe you have to tell your fans out there, the fans of Team Green, to get involved. Do not miss your chance to get involved. Vote in our community voting, obviously, and take part in our Twitter raffle as well. And while you're at it, hit that follow button here, over at Instagram as well, and of course on Twitter. On Instagram, you'll get perfect behind-the-scene footage in our stories. Christine is running around with her camera and trying to catch everything that is not in front of the camera, but behind, because that's why it's called behind the scenes, obviously. And of course, over at Twitter, we still have our giveaway. We will announce the winner of our raffle tonight after the show. So stay with us, get involved. And of course, the nice thing with those Gleam raffles is you get more chances with the tasks you do. So you get a lot of tasks to actually complete. And if you do so, you get more vouchers to actually win. So at the end, you know how it works. Gleam probably can explain better, but I think you get the gist of it. So, okay, the interview is ready. The post-match interview is already. And now we have our next pre-match interview, which is also the start of the next community vote. Team Green needs some votes. Just saying it. Tom, where's your green pen?
It's ready. Melly, it's ready. I've got the red pen, I've got a green pen, and this is going to be difficult because I'm leaning towards Dave, because look at that backdrop.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
beautiful. Is there anything you have not got in the backdrop there? How many wheels do you have, Dave? This is the question everyone wants to know.
In summary, it is 9.
Okay.
9?
All right,
9.
fair enough.
Yeah.
9 wheels. I thought I saw
29,
more.
no?
29?
So far,
29?
at least.
So far.
But of course, not only Dave Gaming is with us, Charlie Martin is with us too. And I'm very excited to have you on the show. And I would say, Tom, do your thing.
Thank you very much. Yes, an absolute delight to have the Green Team representative, Dave Gaming, with us, and also Charlie Martin joining us as well for the Red Team. This is going to be a tough track. What do you make of the track you're about to race on, Charlie?
Monza, yeah, it's going to be the high-speed track. It's a temple of speed, literally, right? So it's all about getting good exits here and carrying that momentum down the straights. And not a lot of runoff. I mean, Monza, a pretty unforgiving track. So, we've got to keep it clean, really. Got to see what happens.
Yeah, we don't want the race too spicy, to coin a phrase of Matt Gallagher. But you, Charlie, obviously we chatted on Nitro Nights a long time ago. It feels like now, but obviously you were getting into sim racing. Do you feel like you've come up to speed?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly it's been a really interesting last few months. I mean, racing in the Race at Home Challenge and competing against professional sim racers has been a bit of a baptism of fire. I mean, I've really enjoyed it, but I think even when you're used to racing on the track in the physical world, you come into the virtual world and you suddenly find actually, you're a bit of a beginner because there's so many. It's just such a kind of dark art, I think, really, and trying to get up to speed with the really fast guys, it's hard work. It's a lot of time.
It's not going to be easy, I'll say that. But listen, one quick question about your team captain, Max Benecke. He's always got a smile on. Is there a darker side to him that you've maybe seen? Come on, Charlie, be honest with me now. He's always got a smile, hasn't he?
I'm not aware of any skeletons in his closet. I think he's just super confident in all his drivers in the red team, yeah?
Exactly. Oh, that's what I like to hear. Listen, Dave Gaming, there you are in your rig. I feel like with Monza, you've got a bit of an advantage wearing a Ferrari hat. How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident going into this race?
Well, I hope so. Monza is a track that I like a lot, and yeah, I think also with the car we have chosen today and with the sim, that I have hopefully a good chance against Charlie.
And obviously your fans, Dave, obviously making some great content for Nitro Nights. There seems to be a lot of support for Charlie, especially on Twitch at the moment. People are going for the support. What are you going to say to your fans to try and get that extra point?
Oh, well, I don't have the quality of a good racing driver, but at least I have the quantity, at least in terms of wheels.
That's what I'm talking about.
That
Gaming.
is
Well, listen.
fantastic. Great. Guys, that is so amazing. Thank you so much for this beautiful insight in your heads right before the race. I wish you best of luck, Dave Gaming, and of course, Charlie Martin. Tom, thank you so much too. You gonna stick with us? Oh, you're voting Team Red. Okay, so I'm going for Team Green. Kevin, I got you. Don't worry about it. I threw that not by being biased idea right over my shoulder. I'm going full Team Green now. Nice. So Tom. And of course, the next race will be taking part in Assetto Corsa Competizione. And if you don't know what Assetto Corsa Competizione is, there's a video. Go for it.
Corsa Simulazione amazed the gaming community in 2014 with their first sim racing game. It received so much acclaim, it was unsurprising to see a successor. The love for detail, its admirable graphics, and the quick patch system made the games by Corsa Simulazione a strong competitor on the market. The sequel, Assetto Corsa Competizione, was fully released in May 2019, after 8 months in early access. Even before its official launch, it was clear ACC was going to be one of the most competitive esports racing games out there. The game developer partnered up with SRO Motorsports Group to build a successful partnership, and they formed their own professional league, the SRO Esport GT Series. It's the most dazzling league of the game, an incredibly high level of realism combined with a quick update system and its own tournament series keep up the high standards of the professional esports racer, which is why Assetto Corsa Competizione is one of the most popular games in esports racing.
And that is the beauty. Assetto Corsa Competizione. How do you like the game?
It's good. It's definitely good. You have a lot of different GT cars, obviously, to drive. A lot of licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned, obviously, as well. So it has a nice feeling to it, just missing a bit of the matchmaking system. But they say they are working on it, which is great. I think we need more competition on the market anyways. So it's always good to have another title.
And of course, you always have to leave room for improvement, you know?
Yep.
So, and Kevin, have you any experiences with Assetto Corsa?
Not yet, but my chat is telling me all the time, try it, try it, try it. And I will probably try it, of course. I will try iRacing as well, for sure. So yeah, this is just getting me more pumped.
Okay, perfect. The qualifying is currently running, and this means we still have a little time to tell you guys at home that you should get involved in our community vote. By our team captains, it was already predicted that all the community votes are probably going to Team Red, but we will see, guys. It is now your time to get involved, so maybe you can bear it to give your vote to Team Green this time. No, just kidding. Just vote for the team you like better, obviously, and it's going to be a fair competition anyways. I just want to leave it here that you guys still have your jokers.
No, I will trust in Dave. Dave is my hope.
Okay.
All good here.
All good here. That sounds perfect. I mean, it's still only the third race of the night. There are still, with that race, 5 races to go. And it's going to be very, very exciting. In the meantime, I think a few people at home were already asking how many different titles we're going to see tonight. 7. And the race is now live. So Lee, take it over.
Thank you very much. Yes, the race about to get ready to go. It is a tough old track for sure, Monza. It is very fast-paced, but it can catch you out. And we've already seen just small mistakes has caught these drivers out so far. So will we see... Well, we will see one of the teams taking their second victory. It is, of course, going to be on Monza, and it is going to be in the McLaren 720S. Now, I believe it's the GT3 edition as well. So a very fast car, but also a very unforgiving car if you're a little late on the brakes. So we've already seen, obviously, Maxime making the error. Jimmy alluded to it in his interview that he made an error in the practice. Now, of course, we'll see how it works out once they get into the game. It is going to be a tough old one. We'll see how this one works out. It is still 12 points, I believe it is certainly for the red team, and 10 for the green. And as far as I'm aware, Melly, they're not quite ready to go. But you know what? You've been fence sitting for a while. Come on. Who's going to win this one?
So, who's going to win this one?
I saw a crash in the red car.
My
before.
pick. Okay, I think Charlie will make it. I'm pretty certain.
Oh, okay. So she's back
yes,
at Charlie.
and now we're seeing the overall standing currently right behind us, and we can talk about the question that is currently asked most in Twitch chat, obviously. What games are we going to see? We saw iRacing. We saw Formula 1 2019. We're about to start with Assetto Corsa Competizione. Then we'll have Trackmania Stadium, Forza, and Gran Turismo Sport, and to top things off, Mario Kart 8.
That's great. Good stuff there. No idea about Trackmania, actually, but I think it's going to be great to watch at least.
How many hours do you have in Mario Kart?
How many hours I have in Mario Kart? I counted in minutes, maybe. It's more easier. Maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know.
So you have no idea about setups and everything, right? Nothing. Oh, you poor thing.
I have a bit more then. I mean, that's 4 hours, 5 hours maybe.
No,
with the drift and stuff like that.
I'm very disappointed in you guys. Like Mario Kart, it's like that's like an institution in racing games.
Yeah, I was playing on the N64.
Yes, the best version.
But after that,
back in the day, and Twitch chat is like N64. Never heard of that console. Yeah, I know. And as already said, we're not old. We're just experienced. And of course, it is a very, very exciting format. Besides having 7 games in one show, 7 disciplines in one show. They're not all games. I know. Calm down, Twitch chat. I love you. And we have, of course, our team lineups. We have Team Red. We have Team Green. We have our wildcard drivers out of the community. Like community drivers that are actually fairly good in their discipline, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. They had to make a challenge first to get here. So they showed that they can drive very fast, and now they're here. So hopefully we have the better one in Team Red, as always. But no, I think they're both great. So yeah, well, let's see what they can do.
Yeah, Harmonic versus Kami will be seen in Forza, right? Correct. And of course, with every win in every discipline, 6 points are going onto the account of the winning team, and 4 points are on the account of the losing team. And of course, we still have our community vote up and running, so please get involved and use your vote to actually vote for your favorite team to give them that crucial 1 point that can actually tip the scale at the end of the show. So make sure to get involved. Currently, the 2 points that were available in the former races went over to Team Red. Maybe Team Green will make an appearance as well. And I've heard that Lee is already ready for us. Nice. Lee, how do you feel about the next race?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I was born ready for this. This is great. This is we are in the serious side of sim racing. I would say like this is the iRacing, the Assetto Corsas. That's like the serious side. I know I'm going to upset a few people, but when you start to hit Forza, it starts to slide a little bit more towards the arcadey side of things. Although, you know, look, I will say it, Liège out there, one of the world fastest gamer competitors, absolutely fantastic driver in real life as well. So I'm not going to say, you know, Forza drivers are nothing compared to sim racers. They are very much up there, but it does go towards more arcadey. Obviously, you guys at home, you've all played on a PlayStation, probably one of the most popular games out there, in fact. Melly.
I mean, there is esports in all of them. It doesn't have to be like the perfect sim to be able to compete in it, right, Lee? So you have so many options to actually get involved in the competitive side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Forza Race Championship is actually probably one of the most popular ones out there. But this is Assetto Corsa Competizione. And I use my English accent there, so it's not quite the Italian ring to it. Of course, you are looking at the McLarens. They are the 720S GT3s in the green car. We have Dave Gaming in the red car. We have Charlie Martin. And as you can see, Charlie had that slightest edge in the qualifying for this one. So, with the timer set to 10 minutes, it will give us 6 laps of racing action on Monza. It is a very quick circuit, as Charlie said. Probably one of the favorite ones. Not sure on that start. Okay, are we gonna have a rolling start, or we're being fair? Okay, we're gonna have a rolling start. Okay, that's more like it. I was just questioning it for a second there. So it's gonna be a rolling start. They are side by side. If you don't know, this is actually fairly standard in the GT Pro Series side of racing. You will have the rolling start. You can even get the helicopter view. Everything is in there. You've got to love these sort of setups for the games as they approach that start-finish line, and they're about to hit the gas as soon as they get into that final sector. The line approaching. So Charlie starting out, and away we go. It will be Dave Gaming hitting the floor in the green car, and Charlie Martin in the red. At the moment, I see them the other way around, though, which is confusing me, because Charlie Martin is in the red team, unless I've got my notes completely wrong. But either way, they do go through the hard chicane, and then you floor it. That one, while it didn't look so glaring at the moment, it will catch them out, trust me. That is the hard part, and of course, these McLarens, as I say, unforgiving. They themselves will be racing, certainly from Dave's point of view. He'll be racing inside first person. Does have the braking line on, though. Not too sure whether that's actually him or whether it's just our observing point of view. Hard chicanes. Does put him well in the lead at the moment, Dave, as he piles on round the corners. Very, very fast 4th, 5th gear corners all the way around. Oh, no. I think I just saw Charlie rejoining the track. That's why we see her so far behind. It looks like she may have left the circuit on one of those chicanes back there. Hard on the brakes. As we heard in the interview, relatively new, coming out of the racing world, obviously. New into the sim racing world. When lockdown came upon us all at the start of March. Up against Dave Gaming, of course, does this literally as his job. Oh no, that's got a little squirrely. Got a toe on the gravel. That's what's going to happen. As I say, this is almost much more on the hardcore side of things. And of course, with the more of the sim racing world, this is more into Max's territory. Safe to say. Obviously, Assetto Corsa, Max, you've no doubt raced on this one a bunch of times. This is much more hardcore of a sim than, say, your Forzas. I know I'm throwing you under the bus, but it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it surely is a bit harder to drive now. We can see that already. Charlie Martin had a couple of mistakes already, but she's getting back there. So let's see, maybe Dave also makes some couple of mistakes and then we're back. But yeah, as you said, it's definitely harder to drive.
Yeah, definitely a more hardcore game. You know, you were talking about having a chance to go into this one, Kevin. This is a a game that you're looking to get yourself involved in? Is it drawing your attention now? You're starting to see see Dave leading the charge?
Yeah, I love to see that. He had a really good start, I think, and he's doing like no mistakes. He's having good pace, and I mean the color just looks awesome on this car.
It does indeed, and the McLaren itself is not an easy car to drive, isn't it? Like, I remember it as one of the tougher models out there.
Yeah, obviously a mid-engine car, so you have a lot more like rotation in the car as well. Need to stabilize it a lot throughout the whole track, so it's not that easy to drive. Yeah, Monza is also a very difficult track. It's not just about the car. Here you have a lot of hard braking zones. Need to brake down from 260, 70 down to probably 60, 70, 80 through the chicanes. So it's a very difficult track, not only for the car but also for yourself.
Hard on the brakes for Dave. He's going to pull over in a minute just to change one of those wheels. See whether he can put it on there. He says 9, but I reckon there's more. That looks like more to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. At least, there's at least 9, I would say. Well, see, I reckon he's got a bit more back there. We'll see whether he switches it out in a moment, pulls in the pits and changes things over. Charlie just going over the line with 6 minutes to go. A lot of work to try and catch up on this one. Look at that car topping out. I did Gamescom a couple of years back. It was the launch of another racing game, Project Cars 2. And we had a McLaren 720S on the stage right then. Absolutely beautiful car. You guys at home, don't forget to get involved. You already saw the voting. Red team, they've got 2 of the community votes so far. Hashtag Overtake Challenge. And they're leaving 12 points to 10. Of course, we can see now that Dave Gaming is leading quite considerably in this race. You know, if you were to maybe sway your vote, we will be 1 point difference. We will be 1 point difference going into the next one. 50-50 currently in the vote. So get yourself involved and see exactly where this one is going to go. Charlie flooring it down the back straight into the hard braking zone through the chicane. Oh no, just overcooked it a little bit again. And that's the difference, right? When you are in a sim, it will be absolutely punishing. Catches it before the barrier, that's more important. And you can see just how much it catches it. Just one little tootsie, one little toe. That's all you got to do. Dip it onto that gravel and it will punish you. Absolutely punish you. Drags that car. Dave looking solid. The Ferrari hat is obviously, you know, guiding him through to victory here. Ooh, little heavy on that one. Does manage to catch the braking in the end there. As he continues to push. Coming in now with 4 minutes to go. Solid performance from Dave Gaming. He's going to be having another race later on today as well. He's up against his teammate in real life. And actually, you know, Dave Gaming, he actually qualified for his racing license in real life just last week. He raced on the Nürburgring with Rene Butler, catching his license. He's going to be driving for the Butler Pal Motorsport team in the Ford Fiesta alongside Jimmy Broadbent, who obviously we've already seen. He'll be racing against him later on the GT Sport. And he'll be on the same team with him, although Jimmy will be racing in an Opel Astra. So both of those will be representing when, obviously, Real World kicks back in. They will be real-life race partners in the Butler Pal Motorsport, which is great to see these guys, you know, transferring their skills from the sim racing world, from the YouTubing world, across to real-life racing. And they've both actually qualified for their driving license, their not driving license, their racing license is what I'm referring to there. Because you can't just go on a circuit. You can't just say, hey, I want to race. You go on a circuit, you've got to get that racing license in there. And as I say, Dave Gaming went and got his just last week, because things are slowly getting back to normal here in Germany. And clearly that experience for Dave is being put to work here at Monza. And ironically, that racing team, it is based at the Nürburgring, and that's what they're going to be racing on in GT Sport shortly. In I think it's the sixth race of today. Going through 7 different games. If you've missed it, well, where have you been? Where have you been? We had iRacing. We had a climactic race between James Baldwin and the Cem. Represented G2. I reckon the G2 fan base maybe got involved in the voting because he got the second place point for that one. And then, of course, we had F1 2019 between Jimmy Broadbent and Maxime. Jimmy coming out on top of that with Maxime making a small error. It does seem to be, you know, it does seem to be errors right at the start of the race that's costing people in this one. The nerves clearly maybe jangling a little bit as they go through that little qualification period and start the race off. And maybe that focus is not quite switched on enough. And you can see the handling. See, anyone that's watching this will be thinking, Charlie, you know, just made that error, just tipping onto the gravel a little bit. We've all done it. We've all done it a million times. I've certainly have. And you've got to respect the nerve to go up against each other head-to-head here. But it does look like it's going to be a solid victory for Dave Gaming and the green team, which would make the green team their second victory, with James Baldwin picking up the first one earlier on today on iRacing. As they will be moving through to the 4th racing game after this one. Plenty of action still to go as Dave crosses the line and takes a fantastic victory. Final lap with 30 seconds to go. Way, way, way out in front. I can't even see the timing actually between the two, but ooh, a little bit squirrely there. Little bit. Catch it hard on the brakes. Big squeaky brakes now. He's been working those brakes pretty hard. Don't forget, guys, get yourself on the vote. You've got, what, about a minute, 2 minutes remaining with me and Melly talking to get yourself on the vote. Hashtag overtake challenge. It is going to be currently 16 points to 16 points. That vote, which is currently sitting at 50-50, will make all the difference. One of these teams will be leading with 17 points. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? It's down to you. You guys at home can make the difference and decide. Will Kevin of the green team, the captain, who once chased a man around a Nexus many years ago, 8 years ago in Poland. It was one of the most historic moments in esports, and he'll never live it down. But he's learned to accept it these days. Of course, he's up against the man representing Team Red Line, Max Benecke. Sorry, a tenuous link at best, that one. It's as much as I could hope for. Dave Gaming, though, he has put in a solid performance. He's looking pretty casual and calm. It's clearly... Well, I wonder what wheel he's using for this. Is he using a Ferrari wheel? Is there a Ferrari wheel in there? Oh, right, I hope he's in the barrier. Oh, a little moment on the final corner. But it's all good. He's got plenty of time to get himself in there. You know he's going to balls this up. No, he didn't. He held it. It will be Dave Gaming picking up the win there. Fantastic performance for him, taking the victory for Kevin, and that will give them 16 points. And of course, it does also mean that Red Team will also have the 16 points. The Green Flares, they must have known. They must have known. Maybe it's just the colours of Italy, but no, it was the colours for Kevin Gaming. Kevin Gaming? Dave Gaming. Kevin TV is the one we wanted.
Kevin Gaming.
Well, I mean, Kevin Gaming works as well. I mean, Team Captain Kevin Lee, thank you so much. And you were absolutely right. The overall standing is currently sitting pretty on 16 each, making that community vote even more vital than it already is. But let's have a closer look on the highlights of this race. Enjoy. All right, the highlights of this race. Max, what would you say?
Yeah, a couple of mistakes there on our side, which basically lost the race for us. I mean, Dave did a couple of mistakes too, but they were not as severe as this one, as you can see.
I thought in the last clip that he
Yeah.
would crash into the wall and GG.
Yeah, just imagine like the last corner with that advantage in the final lap, and then just like squiggling your way towards the barrier and risking a fatal injury. I almost said fatal damage of your car. What goes through one's mind, Max? What happens inside your head if you're in the lead and you know, oh my God, I might have lost it like right here?
Well, first you concentrate further to just make sure that the car is stable again, and then afterwards, like 1 second afterwards, you feel that your heart rate is going up from 80 to probably 150, and you realize, okay, it's all good, I saved it, and then you go on, and it slowly goes down again.
Just making use of that adrenaline moment, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's important to have that.
To have that. Perfect. That sounds lovely. Thank you so much for your input on that. And I mean, as already said, 16 versus 16. The community vote is still going strong. As soon as the post-match interview ends, the vote ends. So you still have time to get involved. So throw that point towards your favorite team. And Tom is already waiting with our contenders.
I am indeed, Melly. Great race. Congratulations, Dave Gaming. You tried to throw people off with your flex of a red hat, but you proved you were too good in the race. Talk us through it.
At the start, I tried to get away quickly, and pretty soon I was able to build a gap, and I managed to hold the gap. Made a few mistakes here and there. I tried to make a personal fastest lap time, but I think overall, at least it was enough.
Of course.
Yeah, indeed. Well, listen, your team captain Kevin is very happy with the performance. Just a little bit of a head nod going on back in the studio, and a thumbs up as well. But Dave, talk to me about the final turn when you decided you would have a close-up look at the barrier. What was happening there? It could have been very sour.
It could have been. As I said, I was hunting for personal best lap times, and I had a few tenths in my delta, and I tried to make the lap stick.
Indeed. Listen, Charlie, come to you. It was a tough race for you. Where do you feel like it went wrong for you today? I mean, I've been seeing on the Twitch that there's a few people saying, Fresh Yogurt said, using a different sim today. So is that going to be the excuse?
Do you know, Tom, I mean, I could pull all the excuses out of the bag. I am using my friend's sim because I'm currently in Germany testing. It was just a rookie error, to be honest. All the driving I've done on this when I've come out of the pits with the tyre warmers on. So I've not practiced one of these starts yet. And I just cold tyres, and I came into the chicane and I was a bit like, I just thought, oh no, I've just carried that little bit too much speed in, and I ran wide. I hit one of the sausages, at which point the car just went airborne, and I was just so annoyed because, when something like that happens, you just think, I mean, short of Dave having an absolute shocker and making a really big mistake, I thought, all I can do is just keep trying to put in consistent laps and hope that he puts a foot wrong. But
yeah, he didn't. And also wearing a red hat, trying to put you off. Dave, you were just showing a green item for a second there. Is that just for your fans?
Yeah, of course, because green is like the best color. The hat was just for Monza. If there was a green Ferrari hat, I would have worn the green Ferrari hat.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense. I can say, Charlie, obviously it's neck and neck at the moment, 16 points. The moment this interview is done, that is the end of the voting chance. So a lot of people saying, don't be mean, vote for green. What would you say to your fans to try and get you that point?
I just say, guys, come on, you've got to vote for red. I mean, everyone knows red cars are the fastest cars out there anyway. So It's an easy choice.
Red cars
I
get
love
actually
it.
stopped more by the police. Did you know that? Like there is a statistic that says that cars are getting stopped more. Maybe because they're the faster cars. Thank you guys so much for that lovely post-match interview and of course for that splendid performance on the track. Thank you so much for being a part of Clash of Races by OverTake. Yeah, I'm having a great time. I mean, I'm enjoying company in my lovely studio. I'm so excited. Tom is still with us, digitally at least. In a tweet, I was a bit mean. I wrote like I couldn't get rid of him, so he's there as well. But I'm actually quite happy that he's here. And I mean, we're having a lovely show. We're having a lovely head-to-head race. It's 16 points even after the third race. Do you want to know what the voting says?
Yeah.
Are you sure, Kevin?
Yes.
I'm not going to troll you this time, okay?
It's okay.
Okay, we have
can deal with
over
it.
400 votes.
Okay.
And the winning team has 51%. And it's green! Team Green won the community vote this time, making it to 17 points versus 16 on the red team side. And we're almost ready to head into a fourth race of the day. 3 more to come, actually. Wait. 4 more to come with the fourth race.
Mario
Well,
Kart,
on
of
air
course.
math, it's still getting to me. But well, we can have a closer look on the overall standings. Actually, we first saw in our first race Cem Bolukbasi versus James Baldwin in iRacing, where Team Green was actually successful, but Team Red got the community vote. Jimmy Broadbent 7 points, Maxime 4 points in Formula 1, making it the red team again winning the community vote, but this time it was different. Charlie Martin sadly losing the race in Assetto Corsa Competizione, taking home 4 points for Team Red, and of course 6 points for the winner, Dave Gaming. I actually thought that he was holding the Amumu plushie into the camera for a second.
Yeah, it might have been. But it wasn't, but yeah.
It wasn't, right? But it looked like it for like a second. So I just saw it in the corner of my eye. And of course, the community vote with 51% for Team Green as well, bringing it to 17 to 16. Team Green currently leading. And of course, guys, you can get involved by using the hashtag OverTake Challenge. And I promised you to have a look on those tweets and postings. And Tom, what do you got for us?
It's me again. The Netman is back. Thank you very much, Melly. Yeah. Well, obviously, if you aren't already doing so and you're watching us on Twitch, make sure you go over to Twitter, go to OverTake. I'm pronouncing it like that, OverTake_GG. Follow us there. But interestingly, put in the hashtag OverTake Challenge. Been some great comments on the Twitch, which I have to say, and I'm going to ask Max a question, so get ready. But Austin Smith, the VRT Badgerman, said, using the hashtag OverTake Challenge, very simply, I think the OverTake Challenge gave birth to a new nickname for Jimmy Broadbent. He is the Shack of all trades. Ta-da! Love it. I love those. Keep them coming in. And there, of course, is very simply how you do that, just doing the hashtag OverTake Challenge. And of course, Jimmy Broadbent will be back later. I did see this, though, a little comment on Twitch, which very simply said from Code Green, when is Max next streaming? So I thought I'd just ask, seeing as I am in a position where I can ask. Max, answer that question immediately, please.
Soon, to speak in iRacing terms, soon again. I know everybody wants me back to stream. I will be there, but as you can see, there's so much other stuff going on. And it's kind of a stream right now as well, so let's see.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's perfect. Listen, I'm loving all of the comments on Twitch. There's so much voting going on, and it just goes to show, Melly, that when you want to support a team, it does exactly that. Don't be mean, vote for Green. Got them that extra point. So I'm looking forward to the next 4 races and seeing what the community says.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be very, very exciting. I mean, you are a Netman, you're a social media guy, and you're a comedian on the side as well, so you're here for the puns. And yeah, of course, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also very polite. Finger up there. On Instagram as well is a great opportunity, place for you to ask some questions as well that can get answered. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Absolutely. I mean, you have your hands on the social media profiles, and we all exactly. So, and you don't mix up your cue cards. That's not a smart idea. You won't know what to say next.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. But Tom is absolutely right, guys. We love hearing from you. Feedback, throw it all our way. This is our very first official show on our new Twitch channel, so make sure to follow that Twitch channel as well. We need you guys on there because this is where we will bring you all the esports racing action. And I mean, we're almost ready to start our next race, which will be Trackmania Stadium. And if you guys have never heard of that game, there's a video. Enjoy.
French developer Nadeo launched Trackmania in 2003, and it's become one of the most diverse arcade racing games out there. Above all, the built-in editor, with which players could design the craziest tracks themselves, quickly made Trackmania a cult game. A lot of add-on content came in the following years. Its true successor, Trackmania 2, was released in 2011. Trackmania 2's gameplay is very similar to its predecessor. The player can drive on self-made tracks in single and multiplayer modes, where collisions with other vehicles aren't possible. The popular editor also had a comeback. An esports scene has also developed over the years, so Trackmania was already part of the world's cyber games or the ESWC. Trackmania 2 stands out above all due to its active community, which wins a lot of attention for its creative tracks, even if reality completely falls under the rug.
Sometimes racing games don't need to be as real as possible to spark joy. Am I correct?
Correct. I mean, I've never really played Trackmania, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos about it, and it's always good to see something like that. Always watch some world record runs just to see how the pros are doing it. So it's interesting to see, and I guess we will have a good race.
And I mean, Trackmania is a game where you can also do a lot of trick moves as well. There are modes where actually trick moves are required to win the round to get those extra points in. But this format that we're going to see is a bit different. It's going to be a best of 3, and of course, the fastest lap wins. And I'm really excited to see Maxime and Cem go head-to-head in that race. Guys, what do you think? I still want to remind you of your jokers. Just saying, it's race 4. You're making it really... I mean, there's no point in it if you use it in Mario Kart both. I'm just saying it, you know.
I'm not using it, I can already tell. But, I mean, both lost the first rounds they had. Cem on iRacing, Maxime in Formula 1. So now they have to make up for it. Cem, do it, please.
Did they play Trackmania? Ever?
Can't tell.
Not sure.
That's something we could ask in our pre-match interview in just a bit. Guys.
Can we use the Joker afterwards if we know?
Oh, I don't know. Race Control can maybe give me some input on that. Can the team captains use the Joker after the pre-match interview? Just leave it out there. Race Control will get back to me in just a bit. The answer is yes, by the way.
Nice.
And I mean, let's have a talk about Trackmania with the guys because they're ready. I've heard. Tom.
Yeah, of course they're ready.
Maxime
of course.
and Cem already in the line. I'm sorry. I'm not as polite as you.
Professionals. We've been having a little chat behind the scenes. We were wondering, will it matter? Will they get the Joker? That's something that I can definitely ask them now. By the way, very jealous about the Nitro Nights and Overtake hoodies, guys. So I'm going to have to go and get mine on a second. Cem, you were asking where can you get yours, eh?
Exactly. I was asking the same thing.
Yeah. And what about you, Maxime? Would you wear a hoodie?
A t-shirt would be better because it's really hot in this room as well. So
Hang on, I'll just ask. Guys, can we get that sorted? I don't know why I'm shouting in my lounge. I'm in London, nowhere near the studio. Sorry about that. So listen, Cem, let's get to it then. Trackmania, what's your experience of this? You're in a sim rig, yet you're going to be using a controller, I believe.
Yeah, as a Trackmania expert that has downloaded the game yesterday, I think I'm good to go for Trackmania esports. But I mean, if it's a controller game, I think I have some sort of... I have no idea how to drive it, but honestly, it's a controller game, technically a racing game. I don't think Maxime has a lot of experience on the game either, so it should be pretty equal. I'll try to do my best. I need to compensate on that first loss, so I'm really looking forward to win.
Hey now, Jem, you get that out of your mind. You don't think about that loss, because I'm going to talk to Maxime about her loss to Jimmy Broadbent.
That's already gone. That loss is already gone.
Maxime, you need to get that race that you lost out of your head. That was F1. You're now going to a controller. Huge difference. How are you feeling, and what's your experience on Trackmania?
Well, I think I had like 10 minutes playtime, so it's going to be interesting. But it looks like a fun game. I think we can do a coin flip or something, because it's just going to be, we're just going to have fun. Let's just do it.
Yeah, of course you are. You're going to have fun. But with 10 minutes practice, this is definitely making your captain start to sweat a little bit and think about how they're going to play and whether they're going to play this Joker at all. But you're going to go in there. In terms of the course, have you ever raced against Jem before?
No, never. But
I don't think so, no.
It's going to be an interesting race. But it's Trackmania. We're playing with a controller. So I think we're both like new to this game. So maybe on another game he will beat me easier. But here everybody can win.
Yeah, and also that support from the community, that vote, which is vital.
Oh, yeah.
It really is going to pay off to get that extra point. So in terms of what you're going to add to your driving style to maybe make it a little bit more interesting, is there anything that you could do to maybe swing the vote?
Well, I've been spamming in the chat with all green emotes, and then we had all these like, here, don't be mean, vote for green. Come on, guys, do that, and then hopefully we can have another point, because we need it. Red had a lot of points with the vote, so let's give it another point to green.
Indeed. And Cem, final question, because I know before you had that race against James Baldwin, you were taking back a lot of water. Have you still got a 2-litre bottle next to you? Maybe that was your downfall. Too
Still
much
here.
Water.
Still here.
Okay,
Got it by
listen.
me.
The guys seem very pumped, ready for this. It's really up to the captains now to know whether they are going to add a joker to their proceedings. Melly, back to you in the studio.
I'm not sure to take the Joker. I think they wanted it so equal that they should have it.
They both have 10 minutes
I
of
think it will be
practice.
more fun.
It's fine. Let them do it. Let's not take it in the end.
Oh, that's really nice of you. You're like, let's not put more pressure on either of the guys by giving one a head start. That's actually really nice, and that's really sportsmanship at this point, I must say. And Tom, thank you so much for that lovely pre-match interview. And of course, Maxime and Jem, best of luck to you guys with your 10 minutes in-game experience. Gonna be fantastic, and it's gonna be a very, very fun match to watch. And guys, you do not leave anywhere. We'll be back after a very, very short break. Just enough time to get some snacks and something cool to drink, and maybe just walk around in your flat or place a bit, and then come back to your computer, and then we will continue with our next match in Trackmania. See you then.
French developer Nadeo launched Trackmania in 2003, and it's become one of the most diverse arcade racing games out there. Above all, the built-in editor, with which players could design the craziest tracks themselves, quickly made Trackmania a cult game. A lot of add-on content came in the following years. Its true successor, Trackmania 2, was released in 2011. Trackmania 2's gameplay is very similar to its predecessor. The player can drive on self-made tracks in single and multiplayer modes, where collisions with other vehicles aren't possible. The popular editor also had a comeback. An esports scene has also developed over the years, so Trackmania was already part of the World's Cyber Games or the ESWC. Trackmania 2 stands out above all due to its active community, which wins a lot of attention for its creative tracks, even if reality completely falls under the rug.
Will they make a mess? Oh, he's getting twitchy! Ladies and gentlemen, it sends Cem.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with us for the Clash of Racers by Overtake, our launch stream for a new Twitch channel. Thank you so much for joining us all night. And we already had a few amazing races, and there are still many more to come. With me are Kevin and Max, team captains of Team Red and Team Green, currently just divided by one single point. I would say, before we jump too far ahead of ourselves, let's have a look on the overall standing of tonight. As already mentioned, 16 points for Team Red and 17 points for Team Green. How, you might ask? Well, Team Red already won 2 races, bringing with each win 6 points on their account, and with one loss 4, and of course winning 2 community votes, getting in those 2 extra community voting points, bringing it to 16 points in total, and the same goes pretty much for Team Green as well, by winning 1 community vote, 2 races, and losing 1 race in total. So that makes it 3 races completed, 4 races to go. Trackmania Stadium is currently causing, well, little technical issues, sadly. We'd love to jump into the game as soon as possible. So dear Twitch chat, please stay calm. We don't like hearing ourselves talk. We're just experiencing slight issues with the Trackmania service, so we have to fill a little, but we'll make it as enjoyable as possible, so you guys just know why we're not continuing with the races. And Max, how are you feeling about the performance of your team so far?
Well, team performance-wise, it's good. I mean, Cem started in front, just made a small mistake. Jimmy definitely delivered. And now just a couple of issues with Charlie there, also changing the rig, so completely different. But overall, team performance is great. I'm missing a bit in the community, you know, winning 2 times and then 1 time losing with 49% only. You can do better. You can do better.
Kevin, currently sitting 1 point ahead with 17 points in total, 16 points of Team Red, as already mentioned. How's it going for you? Is it working out how you expected it?
I think it's working. The community votes, they are fine. I mean, we won 1. I'm very happy with that. Thank you very much, chat. No, I think it will go further like that. Yeah. I want to say, I think Dave I'm not sure what he will play again, but I'm really hopeful for Dave. Dave is the carry. I hope that we will have just some exciting races as well, and maybe a little bit closer together, so they won't be like so one-sided. But I'm really curious to see how they do in maybe games they didn't play that much.
Okay.
Especially for our Mario Kart games.
I was about to say, it goes the same for you guys, playing a little later on, a round or 2 in Mario Kart. and you know that that race gets the double amount of points, right?
True. Yeah,
You know
it's
that.
4 points of a difference, right? 6 is 12, 4 and 4 is 8. So 4 points of a difference. It's hard.
That's not little, that's exactly. So guys, I would say let's have a closer look on the next discipline to see how Trackmania does in the
700
meantime.
cars and 200 different types of racetracks all over the world. Forza Motorsport 7 made a statement right at its launch in 2017. There aren't many games that can compete with its variety, and it's still growing. For 15 years, Forza Motorsport has been the best-known racing brand in the world of Xbox. And after years of waiting, PC users could finally enjoy the fun of driving on iconic racetracks or Forza's very own circuits in 2016, a breaking point in Forza's history. No surprise the game won trophies at the Game Awards, Gamescom 2017, Games Critics Awards, and many more. But of course, esports is also an important factor for the Le Mans Esports Series and Forza Racing Championship games, two of the biggest leagues in Forza. Super real cars, almost any car you can imagine, and the perfect balance between sim and arcade racing. From full pro to racing newbie, Forza Motorsport 7 is the perfect game for anybody who loves cars.
It indeed is. Forza Motorsport 7. Our wildcard drivers from the community will take their chance in the next race. And guys, what do you think about Forza? Max, what is your experience with Forza?
I can remember that I tried it a couple of years ago, but not in detail. I think it's a lot about drifting. So it's a different driving style, of course, but in the end, it also has a lot of esport aspects to it. So it's very well known over the world. There are big championships actually taking place. So I know it's very competitive, and I really looking forward to see what our drivers can do tonight.
Kevin?
I think the same. I don't really know Forza that good. I just play Forza Horizon a little bit. But other than that, I'm just really, really excited to see how they will race.
Kami will take the racing seat in this discipline. And Kami is actually one of the fastest drivers of our community. Who handed in?
That's good for me.
I mean, who took part in the challenge, because our wildcard drivers could actually win their ticket for this show by competing, by sending in a screenshot of their fastest lap in Forza. And those two made the cut, which makes it very hopeful for your two teams. And by the way, our dear partner AOC has supplied our wildcard winners with esports screens. So, and how pretty they are, you can see now. Exactly, especially the AG272FCX monitor. To be very, very specific. Thank you so much, AOC, for supplying our wildcard drivers with that beauty, and of course, giving them the chance to bring their A game on the perfect, with the perfect tools to work with. Can't put it any different. Thank you so much. Big shout out. And I'm really excited to see how wildcard contenders will actually behave themselves in the race. And I mean, wildcard winners are always, how do you say, you never know what's going to happen, right? Because in this case, they're not very well-known racers that have been in the community where you know their driving style, where you know what to work with. So have you guys heard of your wildcard drivers yet? Harmonic, Kami?
Just heard of him today, so we will see. But I guess they are both good. So let's see. Hopefully we'll have a good race, and maybe it opens the door for them too.
Exactly. Yeah. Shows like this can also be like a stepping stone for a future career, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they now have the chance to show themselves, and I mean, I saw the the things they had to do to apply and stuff like that, and for the video. So there were a lot of stuffs that were pretty hard, I think. And I mean, they managed it perfectly, and the times were really good. So of course, I think it would be actually a really fun match.
They're absolutely not new names to the esports racing
Yeah, I don't
scene.
think so
Absolutely, and already mentioned that they had to win the challenge to be able to compete in this show, and to win the challenge you have to bring a certain
skill,
performance and skill to the set. Exactly. And I've heard that Tom is already waiting in the wings with Kami and Harmonic, who will now compete in Forza. Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
Hello, we're great.
Yeah, we were just having a chat actually, Melly. It's great to have Kami representing for the green team, captained by Kevin. I'm loving his setup in his room. That TV, could it be a little bit bigger, Kami? That's the question people want to know.
Yeah, of course it can. It always can. I mean, it's pretty old. It's one of the first 55 inches. So
okay.
It's time for a new one.
Hey, listen, if you start by getting this win today, we know how good you are online, competing. You're here as a wild card. You got that ticket because of how quick and how fast you are on the track. Maybe, as Melly said, this is an opportunity for you to get signed, move on, make a bit of a name for yourself. So then, which point you'll get a bigger telly? Is that the goal, Kami?
Well, of course. I mean, I wouldn't decline this, but I have to set something right. I never ever won against Dave in this, so it's going to be very hard. But I try my very best, I promise.
Oh, indeed, because I chatted, this is everybody watching now, I chatted to Kami, I said, you look very calm and relaxed. He said he's a little bit nervous, but he is not showing it. However, dropping that little bit of information, let's welcome Dave Harmonic to the show. We were chatting about the fact that you're just outside of Detroit right now in the US. Listen, Dave, are you feeling confident about going into this race?
Was at first, but then Kami and I had run a little bit of practice beforehand, and we were pretty much neck and neck. So he's definitely improved since the last time we've raced. Both of us being FRC competitors, I'm on RDE, and now Fordzilla, and myself on Williams and Lazarus. We're both pretty tight in competition, and it happens.
Yeah, and indeed, obviously, I looked on your Twitter account, Dave, fourth in Le Mans Esports Super Final, which is incredible. So the pedigree's there, but how do you remain composed going into a race like this? Is it just about having the fun, or, as Melly said and the guys, an opportunity for you to really shine and show off your talent?
It's a mix of both. It's always a bit of fun when we're racing with everybody. Like everybody at the top levels of Forza, everybody knows each other. We all have a good time there. I've been doing it for so long that I've gotten the nerves out of the way after the first couple of years. So these events, and it's kind of more the same, I guess. I'm used to it by now.
Indeed. Well, listen, you look very calm, collected, going into this race. Obviously representing Team Red with Max Benecke. Do you feel the pressure from him then? If you're not feeling the pressure of the race, him putting a bit of pressure on wanting to beat his associate in the studio. He's shaking his head, but he knows full well he wants bragging rights over Kevin. Do you feel that pressure in any way, Dave?
A little bit. Matt doesn't know who I am, but I know who he is on iRacing. He's one of the best, if not the best. So I would like to take home a win and show him that I'm not only good at Forza, but I have potential in other racing titles as well.
Don't worry.
Okay, and finally, Max actually said it before I let Max have a word. Talking about drifting, is that what Forza's all about?
Actually, no. There's a strong drifting community, but the Forza Racing Championship is actually focused on circuit racing, while some may not think it's a simulation as much as iRacing or Assetto Corsa. The fundamentals are there and the same racing standards and all of that. It's just a different physics engine, different platform. But yeah, it's all about circuit racing.
I must say, I love how calm David is. Like, he's so set in himself, and his mindset is so on point. And of course, Kami, thank you so much for being here tonight as well. Guys, you're going to do amazing. I'm pretty sure you know what you're doing. and I'm really looking forward to see you guys race. Tom is already holding up the red pen. I just saw it in the very last frame before it swooshed over. And guys, that's your cue actually to get involved. The community vote is up and running, so get involved. We had 400 votes in our last community vote, and I want to break that record, guys. We need more than 400 votes, so get involved in Twitch chat, in the straw poll that is being posted right now. So just click on the link and vote for your favorite team to give them that 1 point advantage, because currently it's just 1 point ahead. Like Team Green is sitting pretty on 17 points and Team Red is 1 point behind with 16. And Lee, I think the game is almost ready to go. And are you ready? I mean, you already said that you're born ready. So I take that out of the way already. I took that out of the way already. And Lee, are you looking forward to Forza and wildcard drivers?
I am. I actually used to cast the Forza Racing Championship many years ago. We did season 1 and 2 before it really took off. They didn't even have lap timers when we used to do it. So I'm kind of used to being able to cast just about anything in racing. So it has developed a lot longer now. And as David said, aka Harmonic, is a strong competitor in that championship, along with Cami. Both of them compete, so they know each other pretty well. So it's interesting to see how that's going to feed into the actual race itself.
I mean, it's always an advantage if you know your opponent, if you know what you have to work with, and maybe to find out their weaknesses and maybe to cover their strengths. I mean, Kevin playing on one of the highest levels out there, that's something you have mastered.
Yeah, I think it will be like, I think on this level, it's just to wait for the right moment and to see if the other one just does a mistake. You don't hope for it, but if you see the mistake and if he does it, you have to be really fast and sharp to take the advantage of it. And I think this will be, especially versus this two, or between these two, it will be even harder because they know each other this good.
Exactly. Can it be a disadvantage if you know your opponent too well?
No, can't be. It can never be a disadvantage to know someone better. It's very important.
Okay, perfect. The race is ready. Lee, over to you. Enjoy the race.
Thank you very much. Yeah, let's get into the race straight away. It is going to be obviously on Forza this time around. We've kind of skipped Trackmania. We'll be maybe back to that one. But Forza Race Championships, it has been going for many years now, and these guys have been competing in it. I can tell you that Harmonic, who is in the lead, you know what? He got a Cura NSX. Just in May. He went and got an NSX, amazing car, fantastic car. So he got his dream car, and you can see he's currently in the lead, is playing and representing Lazarus. He's over in America, so I don't know how much lag is going to maybe come into effect to this one. We'll find out. Of course, you can see Cami hot on his heels. This is more like it. This is racing right here. We've seen mistakes early on in all of the races so far, but this is what we expected. You can see we have two hot competitors, and as he mentioned, Cami has improved. Now, as Max alluded to earlier on, it's one thing to get behind a car. It's another to get past them. Obviously, we're going to see Harmonic is probably going to be fairly defensive. You can see it's within 18 meters of each other, so he's basically on his bumper right now. It's Harmonic in the lead. That is the red team. Obviously, you can see Cami on your screens there, who is representing the green team right on his backside. You can see, I should mention, because there's hundreds of cars in Forza these days. It is actually the Lamborghini Aventador. That's pretty obvious. But it is the LP750-4 SV version. There you go. Got to get the exact version out there, just like we did with the AOC monitor a moment ago. They sometimes have similar type of titles that can catch you off guard. But Harmonic looking pretty solid. We are, of course, on the Hockenheim full circuit, a German racetrack. And these tracks are actually starting to reopen, by the way. Obviously you can go do laps yourself. Sometimes the Nordschleife is open now. Obviously you've seen it in the background. The silhouette behind Melly, the Nordschleife, is back open. If you want to get yourself a lap round there. Some serious focus, Kevin, on your face there. That's because you can't see the green car, right? I can't even see it. Where is it? We don't know. There it is. He's behind him. He's just behind him. He's not too far back. It's all right. It's good to see Forza, while it's moved on about 3 different versions since I last cast it, still has the load screen when you switch car. So they'll get there eventually. They'll get there eventually. But he can see Cammy. He is right on the back of Harmonic. Yeah, a bit of wheel spin as he tries to pull away from him, but very close. Not too sure about the South African flag flying for Harmonic. It's South Africa, isn't it? I may be wrong on that one, actually. I may be wrong on that one. I'm going to question myself. Question my flags of the world. But either way, it's clearly over in America, and lag does not seem to be paying any effect, which is what it's great to see. That's what you like to see. The cross, obviously, it's starting to come into the world of cross-console play and Atlantic performances with the European lag, but Cammy still focused, chasing him down on the second lap here of the 5. Hot on his heels. Just one mistake will be the difference between these two. You can see they are. That's basically what Cammy's waiting on right now, because it will be very hard to pass him. You can see they're clearly setting similar paces to one another as they come around into the 3rd lap. And across the line, Harmonic just stretching the lead a tiny little bit. Only ever so slightly, but he's actually made a mistake back there. Cammy running a little too wide and hitting the limiter, hitting the rev limiter. You can hear it bouncing up there, which actually cost him ever so slightly. Again, very tight in terms of control. We're going to hear from Max in a little bit, just what you can do in these best situations. Obviously, you got to keep your focus, keep you calm, and it's a different. Obviously, when you're the chasing car, you clearly have the impetus to, okay, I need to keep chasing, but don't overcook it. Now for Harmonic, he's got to keep the focus, but he's got to make sure he doesn't lose focus. He's got to keep that time attack going, keep that pressure, and obviously don't worry too much about that car in your rear mirror. He's going to be able to just keep getting that little glimpse as he edges away. And the tight corners there of the Hockenheim ring at the moment as he still keeps himself a lead. He is actually starting to stretch it ever so slightly, a Harmonic. Here on Forza 7. Many generations, and I say probably, I mean, I'm throwing a stat out here, but I'm going to say this is probably one of the most popular racing games out there. Based on the fact its popularity over the years, it's certainly grown in stature. Obviously, Gran Turismo, who we're going to be looking at shortly as well for the PlayStation. This one for the Xbox. They're kind of the competition with one another. But us race fans, we don't need to worry about what these companies do, because we can benefit from playing them all. And that's the beauty of this, and that's why we're getting to cover all 7 different genres. There's even more out there as well, obviously, we could touch towards. And as it stands, in lap 4, Harmonic, aka Dave Hock, is continuing to hold the lead. And again, hitting that rev limiter, just bouncing off it, lingering effectively, just the smallest fraction of a second too long, and it can cost you that fraction of a second. And that seems to be Harmonic. He is not making mistakes, is he? Ooh, a little late on the brake in there, and you can see how that has closed the gap. So Harmonic not hitting the apex as cleanly as he'd like, giving Cammy the chance to gain the ground. Cammy certainly cutting the corner just a little touch more than Harmonic there, kissing the apex a little bit nicer. Harmonic definitely seem to be playing it a little safe here, but Max's man is currently leading the race. Team Red out to pick up their second victory to level the playing field, perhaps here. Well, the votes have been going out. Don't be mean, vote for green has been ringing through. I hope you guys have come up with some sort of ring for the red team, because they themselves, well, they've won 2 votes so far. The popularity has been going their way. Harmonic is doing the business right now. Into the final lap we go. It's now or never for Cammy to try and get past him. If we were looking in the sim racing world, this would be the time we'd see them making the maneuver, but I'm not too sure he's quite close enough, you know. And I think he needed to be closer coming into this lap, looking to be right on the bumper. Perhaps as we approach one of these sharp braking corners, be where you can really try and make your move and get the pass in. Catch him on the acceleration, but Harmonic is absolutely cool as a cucumber. He has not made a single error, and I think we're seeing exactly what sim racers can bring to the table. Well, yes, they are using the control, and throw it out there. Actually, you know, I've known Liège for a long time, one of the top competitors in Forza, who actually took part in the world's fastest game out. Harmonic was actually a finalist for that as well. And for Forza, we saw it from Dave Gaming with all his steering wheels earlier on, the controller is actually the best option. It isn't always, but for Forza, it certainly has been over the last few years, which is why we're seeing both of these using that controller, as opposed to Cem and Maxime, who we saw picking up the controller what seemed to be the first time in their lives as they were heading in towards Trackmania. But Harmonic at the moment looks like he's cruising to victory, has not made an error at all, led from the beginning. Cami, in fairness, has kept within 20-30 meters of him throughout the entire race, kept him in check, but it's going to be Harmonic that will win and go over the line in Forza, taking the victory for the red team, the second victory for them. Harmonic picks up the win for Max Benecke. You know his name now, don't you, Max?
Yes, very well done. Great race, leading from the beginning. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Lee, for taking us through this amazing race. And Kevin, how frustrating is it to be like right behind your opposing team's car, like all the time? You can feel like you can touch it, but you can't get past it.
I think it's hard, but I mean they know each other, so he expected something like that, but it was so close, and they drove basically without mistakes. So yeah, Harmonic just had a better start and just a better early game basically, and could finish it.
How often does it happen that you're actually counting on your opponent to make a mistake because you're both driving a very solid lap?
Very often, high competitive fields, very often. Without a mistake on most of the tracks, nothing's going to happen. You can't overtake. You have a bit of slipstream, but then you have the dirty air again. So if you are experienced enough to not make a mistake, you're basically through.
Okay, guys, let's have a look on the overall standing, because tables have turned.
Once again.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's
Team Red is in the lead with 22 points, but Team Green is right behind Team Red with 21 points. So that crucial 1 point from the community vote can once again even it out, or, well, build up the advantage to Team Green. Who knows? At this point, Team Red already won 2 community votes, if I'm not mistaken, and Team Green won 1 community vote. So we just saw a 4th race, and now we will see our post-match interview with our net man, Tom and Kami, of course, and David. And Kami already, well, he finished the pre-match interview with, oh, you changed. That's some A-level effort over there,
Hey,
Tom. I just
Listen, a lot
noticed.
of effort has gone into that. Whilst racing, I was changing, and I have to say, shout out to the main man, Dave. But Cami, I'll come to Cami first. Cami, you were so close. You were just hoping that Dave made one mistake, and then you could be back in that race.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe I was starting in front, but it didn't work out. So that was my plan, starting in front and just defending. And the thing is, there's no much error on this car, and it's turning, let's say, not. So it's pretty difficult, and we both are very consistent drivers. Our best lap was 13 thousandths, the difference. Yeah. So there was no gaining or no. I was just too bad in the early race, so it was my fault.
No, well, listen, I was watching you, and I have to say, Cami, you were very composed. Whilst I was getting the the hoodie on, I was watching you and you didn't seem to break sweat. You would say, just have that focus in your face. And that is what Max Benecke is all about. I don't know, you wouldn't have been able to see. And if you were able to see him, that would have been bad form. But Kevin, your team captain, was willing you along. Hands were like this throughout, Cami. He was willing you along. But a great race from you, David. Melly said you were chill going into it, and you seem very chill. How are you feeling after that? Oh, having a problem there. Is it just me that can't hear Dave? Dave?
No, I also don't hear him.
Oh, Dave. Oh, he's gone. Unbelievable. Cammy.
The mic drop, and he's out.
He's just dropped the mic and left like that. No, he's coming back for a second. That is the beauty of doing something live. Thank you very much for all the tweets that were coming through. We'll get to those. Dave, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave, listen, we're at the edge of our seats. We want to know how that race was for you.
I may seem chill, but definitely wasn't during that race. That was definitely one of my closer races. Like he said, we were 13 thousandths apart on our best laps. We were basically not gaining or pulling either driver the whole race. So it was just down to starting position, consistency. Even in that regard, we were basically equal.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying on Twitch right now that there could have been rage quit from you. Have you ever rage quit after not winning a race? That is a question I need to ask to you now, Dave.
No, that one is new to me. The only time I've ever quit a race is if my car's got damage to the point where I can't move. That's the only time I've ever backed out of a race. Every other time, whether my car is slower than the rest or if I'm having a bad race, I always see it out to the end.
I was about to say, Dave doesn't strike me as a rage quitter, to be honest. He's a very, very, he's a very focused racer, obviously, and it paid off. Congratulations once again for taking home this win, and Kami, very, very well done. It was a solid race, and the guys were sitting here and saying it over and over again. What a close race, and what a solid performance from the both of you. But, well, one racer has to win eventually, and in this case it was Harmonic. And do you guys want to see how the community vote went? 69% for Team Red.
Finally! We're back. Great stuff out there.
Bringing you up to 23 points. Of course, in Team Green, currently sitting pretty on 21, so everything is still open. And the good thing is, we're going to jump straight back to Tom, and he's giving us a social update under the hashtag OverTake Challenge. Tom, what do you have for us?
Yeah, that is a very smart decision. Thank you, Melly. And by the way, my idol is Beyonce, so I was just doing an outfit change. That's what happened, okay? Just letting everybody know.
So how many outfits can we expect from you tonight?
Do you want one more change? I mean,
Sure.
I'll do my best. It's just difficult to find one that doesn't have a logo that isn't the mighty one here. All right, listen, getting to the social. Obviously, I've told you throughout the stream today, hashtag OverTake Challenge, just like Luke has done here. I love the idea of this format using multiple games ranging from Sims to Mario Kart. I hope to see more of these in the future, ! Maybe with all participants at the same time. Very good shout. Maybe that's something we can work on. Also, I'll direct you to the Instagram for overtake_GG. It's verified as well, so we know it's legit. And here's the...
Oh,
and this is coming through. We're seeing you, Melly, get a bit of your makeup done, which I am loving to see. And there's loads of other stuff as well. Everyone has got the PPE. They're looking after you. How many times? I've got to go back. How long does it take in makeup, Melly?
Well, it depends. Like, if you have a full gala makeup, it can take up to 2 hours with like the hairdo and everything. But this took my fabulous makeup lady an hour.
Okay,
and 15
well, listen,
minutes.
can I just...
It was over now.
Melly, you're looking on point, as did the guys as well. So listen, hashtag OverTake and challenge for me to be able to get that on Twitter. Keep coming on your messages on Twitch, and obviously go and check out the Instagram for more behind the scenes with Kristen.
And of course, the Twitter raffle. Don't forget the Twitter raffle.
Oh, and also, guys, but this is great news, actually. I'm so excited, I can barely get words out. I put the hoodie on. Twitch has gone nuts for it, and there is going to be a hoodie giveaway. They weren't planning to do this, but because I mentioned the hoodies, everyone's got a chance to get themselves a hoodie.
That's fantastic news. So more raffles for us. Great. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that update, Tom. It's always lovely hearing from you and can't wait to have you with us at some point in this studio, not only via video call, but we'll make it work. We're getting the best out of the situations. And guys, the Trackmania servers are playing along.
Nice. Finally,
we're almost ready. Almost ready. We're already on the server, and we're loading everything up, and we're getting things to work to make it 7. And 7 games tonight. Well, 7 disciplines. Let's call it that way. And I've heard, is it ready now? I think it's ready.
There we go.
Lee, are you excited?
I'm excited, yeah. I mean, if it's ready, that is. I never knew Trackmania would be so picky to load. It used to be one of those games you could load just like that. It's got more complicated as the time gone. Us that are old enough, you know, I remember Stunt Car Racer. That's kind of like what this sort of all spanned from, which is when you used to be able to build your own track. Now, it will be Time Attack tonight, as far as I'm aware, so I don't know how this one will go. I actually spoke to the 2 captains, Melly, and I said this is the one they should use the Joker on, because it gives them a massive advantage in Time Attack, but they actually had a good point, that they disagreed.
I mean, are you not going to use the Joker at all?
Well,
you can't both use it in Mario Kart.
We talked about it, and we said it's so unfair against those guys and people driving that when you have the advantage, you're like, okay, I have it now, what should I do? And the other one is like, I'm 3 seconds behind, so like, it's not good
you've
for me.
decided to not use it?
Oh yeah, it's better for the competition, right?
That's, ladies and gentlemen, that's sportsmanship in its purest form, I must say.
It's fair for everyone.
Kudos to that. I mean, you're absolutely right, and you don't want to bring your racers in the position of you doubting them in form of using the Joker, and you decided to like throw it all away.
Yeah, we make our own rules.
You make your own rules. That's very nice. As long as I'm sitting here, I still have my hand above it. But Lee, what do you think about that? Like, throwing the Jokers away with the words, we don't need them because we trust our players.
Well, I mean, there's also a bit of mind games possibly here. Don't forget, because if one of them uses it now, the other can then use it for the double point Mario Kart game. So they're kind of both kind of holding on to it. I'm not too sure. I mean, there's only, obviously, if they're not using it for Trackmania, there's GT Sport. And that's it. We're into Mario Kart. So use it either GT Sport. I mean, are they going to use it for Dave versus Jimmy? I don't think so. I think they're both hanging on for the last one. They don't want to lose that 3 seconds. Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. But look, we have Trackmania, ladies and gentlemen. There we are. I don't know what Maxime's doing, and she probably doesn't either, because none of these have really played this game before. You can press a key, and it will turn it around for you. There we go. She found it. You can press a key and get a reset. So it's Time Attack. It's all about who can do it quicker. It's not a race. It's about who can get around the quickest. And obviously, Cem is coming into this one after losing earlier on to the world's fastest gamer in his defense, James. And simply put, don't hit a barrier. Don't do anything. Don't squeal those wheels. You will lose time. Oh, that was close. Cem at the moment looking good on the time. Now, you can reset. You get 3 goes at this, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's more. I'm not too sure exactly. Clean on the rules, because that's a mistake right there for Maxime. So, 1 minute 45 for the first lap. You can see it's ticking down in the corner there. And I think it's 5 in total, or something like that. I didn't quite catch the whole part of the rules, but that was pretty close. That was pretty close. And you can see it's ticking down in the corner there. So, yeah, that's not going to work, Maxime. No. And Cem's also thinking the same as well, because he's kind of looking to the side. You seeing what the problem is here for Cem, right? His racing rig is there, and he's got to like bend over to the side for the console because it's not using his racing rig. Here you see, you've got to have a lot of space for these massive things to try and take control. Tim's going for the reset, also screwed up, and that's where the Time Attack comes in. So at the moment, his best is 48.493. He's leading, so Cem is in the lead. So Team Red would be looking to pick up their 3rd victory here if he was to take it. and it would be his first victory. Maxime, best 51.8, so 3 seconds off for Maxime, so quite a bit of work to do, but that is totally doable. But I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there, 3 seconds, could have used the Joker. That would have been 3 seconds. Just throwing it out there, just, you know, as an option, But I think they're both saving it for that last race at the moment. This time, Maxime's looking stronger, looking faster. Is he going to be quick enough? 0.4, that's getting there. Just about dodges. Gets, caught a little click there. 0.8, that's looking good. Back down to 0.4 though, so this is going to be only a 51 at best. And losing time. And get caught there. We'll get the speed up around the loop, and it is a 42.35. So faster, her fastest still, but not fast enough. Cem will take that one with a 41.983. As we are moving on, I believe. So, it's a best of 3. It's a best of 3. I've got to point it out there. It's not all done. It's not over yet. 5 minutes again. Here we go. Next map. Let's see who can be quickest. Again, it is simply a time attack, not a race. So while you're seeing the ghost car there, it just simply shows where they're racing. And yep, you got to... This is the other thing, right? They don't know the track. This is the sneaky part. They don't know the track. They're not Trackmania experts. They've not been taking part at the ES World Cup in Paris. They haven't been involved in that. They're not gold medalists. They're coming into this one not having a clue. And it's showing. It's showing. Maxime made it round, I think. Yeah, so Maxime may well have got the furthest. I'm not too sure. We were still watching Cem. It still says Cem at first, though. So obviously nobody set a actual time. If you just post a time, you could be the quickest. Cem's made it this time. Okay. Not the cleanest, but he's managed to make it onto the track, which is what he's looking for. And now doesn't really know where he's going. Goes onto the gravel. Looking much cleaner now. Starting to get the hang of this one. I think could throw a couple of mushrooms in there or blue shells, and maybe we'll mix this one up. He's starting to get the grip of this. You can see the natural racer in him is immediately making this as smooth as he can. Oh, no. Posted a time. Okay, 45.798. So, has got the fastest so far. So, it does mean that he's ahead at the moment. That would put him 2-0 up. We will go to a third track regardless. Of course. Oh, that's not worked out, Maxime. Go back for the restart. So, what's Maxime's fastest? Oh, no, 49.37. So, not that much slower. So very close to Cem at the moment. Now, sometimes you could find this quite off-putting when you're following the ghost car like that. You can see Cem making the mistake. Oh, I see. Okay, so Maxime actually taking the correct route, which is the wider route. But is Cem making more ground up by cutting the corner? Because he's managed to cut the corner, but he also slams into the barrier. Oh, there's a lot to take into account in these games sometimes. Some nice smooth driving now coming out of Maxime. Looking faster. This would be a much quicker time. Look at that. 0.3 faster than her fastest time. This would be a monstrous time. This would be a 46. If she can get it right. Don't hit the barrier. Just avoided. Wasn't the fastest. Could have gone quick around that corner there. Certainly needs to cruise around now, but down to 2. 47.1. Lost a bit of time towards the end of the track there. 45.7 is the fastest from Cem at the moment. So still 2 seconds on Maxime. Cem looking really solid on this one. Let's have a look at how he deals with the start of this track, because they've both been taking different approaches into this corner just at the moment. The one where you skip across. Is Cem deciding to go? No, look, he's still cutting it. He's still cutting it and going short. So that's where he's gaining a lot of ground over Maxime. Maxime's going for the wide approach, the smoother approach, if you can make it work. That's not going to work, Cem, so that's going to be a reset. 1:51 still on the clock, so plenty of time to get a start. We've all been there. We've all been there. Doesn't hit the start. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you can get quite a quick start, right? You can get a boost start off this. If my memory of Trackmania serves me correct, and I don't think either of these have realized or hit that. Remember, neither of these, like Cem said, I just installed the game. So he doesn't know about this. He doesn't know about any little cheeky tips and tricks on this one. But he is posting a faster time here. This is almost a second faster than his current time, which would blow Maxime's time out of the water, I'm afraid. Much quicker. Oh, just clips. Ooh. Yeah, lost at least half a second on that one. That's a smooth. Bit too fast, carrying too much speed in the corner there. Would have been a very fast time if he had not made that mistake. Maxime, meanwhile, looking like a quicker track lap for her. That's not going to work. Going to restart. 50 seconds. Okay, just about enough time to get a lap in. Can't make any mistakes here, Maxime, to try and gain that time up. Now look, she goes wider in a moment, whereas Cem's playing it. Cem's cutting short there. Maxime, look, again, if you do it right, it can be beautiful and smooth, and that's exactly what it is. Half a second up on a time, but she's going to have to go quicker because we know she's chasing a 45-second time at the moment. 28 seconds on the clock, just about enough time to finish this lap off. Got to nail it right now, Maxime, or Big Green Kevin is going to be hulking out if you don't pick this one up. Or, you know, you guys at home, don't forget, you got the OverTake challenge. You can vote on the hashtag OverTake challenge. Don't be mean. Vote for green. 46.6, not quite fast enough. It was her fastest time, but not fast enough. So Cem will take race number 2 as we move on to the third and final track. It does mean that maximum points will be going over to the red team. Let's see whether Maxime can pull something out here, whether can pull the heartstrings of you at home and maybe get that vote. As of yet, green team's only got 1 vote. Don't be mean. Vote for green, Maxime. That's what you gotta do. I'm not trying to sway the vote or anything, but, you know, I'm just saying that red team will be leading by 29 points to 27. No, actually, tell a lie, to 25. So that's quite a lead. And that's perhaps the sizable lead going into the last 2 races, which will be GT Sport and, of course, the 2 captains facing off in Mario Kart 8. That's going to be an interesting one. Don't really know where it's going to go. Neither have got too much experience in it, just like this at Trackmania. But you can see Cem's kind of becoming a natural. While he did clip that corner just as I was trying to sing his praises, he's figuring out the smoothest moves after playing this for what? For, you know, 20 minutes? Something like that. You know, he just installed it. He's played it for like 20 minutes and he's already figuring out the smoothest possible approaches. These guys have the racing minds. Very nice, clean, smooth driving style now. How's he going to do? He's not got around here yet. Got to carry the speed, not carrying enough. Will just about be able to limp through. Maxime's finished, so she's managed to clock a time. The question is, can Cem get a lap in? At the moment, Maxime is leading because she's finished. Oh, no, that's not going to work out, Cem. He just wants to get a time in there. That's why it's not going to be a good time. He realizes that is not going to be the prettiest as he dumps it in the barrier, but that will secure him at least a time on the board if he gets over. So Maxime currently leading. Fastest time is 43.428, so it's a pretty decent one so far. Currently holding first place. That would take it 2-1. Can we go best of 5? Keep going. Keep going. It's looking like a really good time here. Maxime carrying a lot of speed, going high. That's what you got to do. That's what Cem wasn't doing. Just about smooths it out. Oh, just about edges. I think he clipped the barrier she did there. Just ever so slightly. Yeah, you can see the time went down on a current time. It is just gaining it back. Oh, a little too fast there and missed the checkpoint. And rolls it as well, but still holding the lead at the moment. Cem not getting to grips on this track at all. Remember, they're kind of learning it. They give them 5 minutes to basically learn the track and post the fastest time. So it's pretty tense. Nicely worked here. Maxime, used to driving around the F1 2019 circuit. This being a little bit different. Slightly different. Oh, clips the barrier. Still looking solid. Oh, Cem just posted a faster time. So Cem now in the lead. So Maxime has to do something here. holds it nicely around the corner, but at the moment it's looking like it's a slower time. It's a very fast one that's come out of Cem, I think. Clocked up a quick time. Maxime putting the pedal to the metal. Oh no! Oh no! 1 minute 30. Gotta post something here. You can see Cem's got a 36.8. A blistering time. Clearly figured out the best approach now. Just learn the track, learn the map. Is going higher now, realizes. Just let the speed carry his momentum down. This one, much slower time though than his fastest. He must have posted a blistering time. This is nearly 4 seconds off it. He must have. So again, I think he had that start, you know. I think he had that speed start. There is a speed start you can do if you get the revs right. You can hit it right. He's 5 seconds off. He's absolutely miles off. This is not even remotely close. Okay, there we go. Maybe he's getting in there. Oh, look at that. Nicely slid and held. Up and round, goes high, now down low. Don't oversteer. Really nice control. Oh, clip the barrier, but it's... I don't think he's lost him too much speed. 25 seconds to go. Try and post yet another quicker one. That was beautiful. Not a mistake made there. Had to ease off the speed a touch as he slows it down. Looking for an even quicker one here. An absolute blisterer, continuing the pace, and that's what you got to do. As he passes Maxime going back the other way. Conceding defeat, I believe, there, as it will be a 3-0 for Cem Bolukbasi. Fantastic performance from the G2 driver, and more importantly, taking a point for the red team, and gives Max quite a big lead here, Melly, as we approach the last two races.
Yes, indeed. The races are halfway done. So we have finished 70% of the matches we're going to see today, of the races we're going to see today. Max, how does it feel to sit comfortably on 29 points with a 4-point advantage?
Very happy for the team. Good job, Cem, there. Fantastic. Was awesome to watch, actually. I really enjoyed watching both of them. Maxime also did a great job. It was both of them just performed very well.
We were all surprised how well you guys actually did for your for the time you have played the game. You all both said that you just spent 10 minutes playing the game, downloaded it yesterday, and it was quite well to watch. Thank you so much for that amazing performance, even with that little time to prepare. And I think Maxime and Cem and Tom are ready for the post-match interview.
Yes, we are, Melly. I have to say, of course I've done a change. Hoodie's there. I'm going to do this for every race now. Why not? Listen, let me take no more time to get to it. I thought that was thrilling to watch. Genuinely very, very entertaining. I know that Twitch is popping off saying that everyone's going to be downloading Trackmania as soon as this show is done. So much fun. Talking of the experience, the PS1, there was an amazing game called Wipeout for any experts out there. I love that game. Cem Bolukbasi, 3 wins there. You seem to get faster and faster. How did you find the whole concept of learning a game like that very quickly?
Honestly, that game was so fun to play. I didn't have I knew the name of the game obviously, but I didn't have a childhood playing this game much, like some of the other people. But it was so fun to play. Really, I just I kind of want to just continue playing right now. I don't know, but it was super fun. Like as soon as you the more you play, the more you get grips with the game as well, how the car handles and stuff. So it was quite fun. It was actually quite fun.
Yeah, at the third track, my heart was in my mouth when I saw Maxime. You came back round to try and take Cem out, which I thought was fantastic work. What did you make of it, Maxime? It seemed a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and the car goes really quick, and when you're in the flow, you're just flying. So it was a lot of fun to play. And we didn't know we started the races, so we were just trying we're just having a bit more practice. We're doubling our practice time. But then it was the full race, so I was like, oh no, I didn't even set a full lap on the first race. But the first and the second race were really close. Third one, Yeah, it was too difficult.
All right, guys, but it was nevertheless very, very fun to watch. And Cem Bolukbasi is taking home the win for Team Red. Thank you so much, guys. Maxime, very, very well done. And Tom, you're already holding up the red pen. And I would say let's have a look on the community vote and let's see who gets that one crucial point in. And it's 63% for Team Red. Kevin, what is happening out there?
I'm not sure.
What is
I don't
happening?
know. But it's okay. Mario Kart is coming. It's an easy win. And I believe in Dave. Dave is solid.
Dave is solid, and you already said it, our second last match
Dave and
up
me,
of the
we got
night.
this.
You got this. I mean,
we got this. It's possible.
It's just 5 points.
Yeah.
But it's also Jimmy.
Well, 5 point difference.
Sure.
Well,
And then
yeah,
4. Is it even possible to win for me?
Yeah, of course.
It is, right?
Yeah.
With 12
Easily.
points.
Yeah.
Easily.
Nice. Away, guys.
Mathematically, theoretically.
Theoretically. But live shows don't play along those rules, and you guys know that. And I would say, without further ado, let's introduce our second last game of the night, Gran Turismo.
Back in 1997, Polyphony Digital set their first milestone by releasing Gran Turismo 1 for PlayStation. Exactly 20 years later, GT Sport hit the shops. Over these 2 decades, GT became one of the top racing games for PlayStation. The biggest difference between GT Sport and its predecessors? It's a fully fledged esports experience. GT Sport marked a change in Gran Turismo's player base. Instead of a classic solo campaign, its focus on challenging online competition paved its way into the world of esports racing. However, no beginning is simple. The lack of a dynamic weather system, day-night cycle, and cars weren't exactly top selling points, but the developer kept on improving the game and released more than 300 cars over the first 2 years. The critics were silenced, and GT Sport succeeded in the esports market. Tournaments like the GR Supra GT Cup or the FIA GTC are just the tip of the iceberg. Esports racing is not only a phenomenon for PC gamers. Gran Turismo also brings it to the PlayStation.
Absolutely, and we're just talking about Gran Turismo and its long-lasting history in the realms of video games. And I was actually telling the boys that my very first racing game was Gran Turismo on the PS2 back in the day. We got it in a bundle. That's why we had Gran Turismo at home, and I ended up playing it nonstop. I don't know how many hours I have on that game. And I just remember my lovely Mazda MX-5 with like the highest possible motor engine in there, like the everything in the say again? everything maxed out, everything in the red red digits, the car screaming for its life, almost bursting into flames, but still Gran Turismo. And I mean, it's not different with you guys, isn't it?
Great game. One of the games I grew up with. PlayStation 2, as you said. Awesome, really awesome. So many different cars on so many different tracks to drive. It was just one of the best games out there in these days.
And the tracks were so pretty. Yeah. Like for back in the day. No, I mean, it's a valid point. The graphics weren't that much, well, we didn't weigh too much in on the graphics back in the day because you had limited options, not like these days where water almost looks like water. But that's what I noticed. Like the tracks were extraordinarily pretty. Actually, it was
17 years ago, I think, if I can remember correctly. 17 years ago, and it was really good. Yeah.
All right, guys. I think the pre-match interview is ready. Tom, are you with us?
Oh, so with you right now, Melly. Also, shout out on the Twitch. Shout out to Melly. Her hosting is great. That comes from Nana Krostovsky. So thank you very much for that. Melly, that should give you that little boost. We're all going to get through this. No one said they're loving Kevin and Max, but I will.
It's okay.
So let's keep that going, guys. Joining me now, Jimmy Broadbent and the main man, Dave, both coming off the back of a win. What I will notice straight away is, Dave, you're wearing a pair of gloves. I will come to you first of all. What is your thoughts behind this? Is this GT style?
Well, I think you have a better grip with gloves, and yeah, when you play a few hours, it is definitely better for your hands and also for most of the wheels.
Okay, well, it's not going to be a few hours you're going to be driving for. However, Jimmy is in his shed, and maybe a pair of gardening gloves there that can help.
They got some marigolds around here somewhere or something. But to be honest, I've been doing a bit of practicing and I've been drifting a lot, so I don't need grip. So I'm all right. I can just sit around, be fine.
Perfect. And what is your skill level, would you say, on Gran Turismo then, Jimmy? What's your expertise? And also, can you explain where the whiteboard is? It's not where it should be.
So right, I'm in shed 2, Electric Boogaloo right now. So this is the second shed where my other rig is. In my life, this is a series of sheds. But my skill level, it's okay. Like it should be better. I'm actually a commentator for the GT Sport World Tour, so you'd hope that I'd be okay at this. And I hope I'm okay. So Dave, be nice, mate. Come on, I need my job next year.
Dave, you're not going to go easy on him, are you?
No, I hope we can have a nice battle, but I don't think that Jimmy is as bad as he thinks as he is.
Okay. Now, obviously, 5 points behind the green team. So Kevin knows you need to get this win. Are you feeling the pressure? There's a new cap that you're wearing, Dave Gaming. What's the thought behind this one?
Well, probably the community knows we are the green team and we are driving in a green hell. Or have I spoiled that?
Not yet.
It's okay.
But yeah, it is a cap of the green hell, so the green hell is probably the best thing. Whatever cars you're driving, whether it's red or green, the green hell is the one and only track.
And that's the perfect way to end this pre-match interview. The Green Hell is indeed one of the best, well, the best track in the world, as you can see right here. And Max and Kevin, you already said, sorry, just like the Green Hell, you had 50 laps?
Around 50 laps, more, I think.
With a driving instructor?
Sometimes, yeah. I drove some taxi route. I was driving with a taxi driver on the track and stuff like that. And I met a lot of people there, community. So it was really great. I even started after the first round to build around my car for the track, changing the tires, changing the suspension, changing the brakes, the airflow for the brakes and stuff like that. So I was really high for the track. Sadly, I'm living now so far away from it, so I cannot just drive there. But I will definitely take a weekend or something this year maybe and go there again.
Max, any experiences with the Green Hell in real life?
3 laps in total, I think, but never driven myself. One taxi drive in an AMG GT, which was very nice already, and then 2 times with friends. But I always told myself, unless I have a very, very fast car, I'm not going to make it because it feels so slow. You're coming from the simulator, you're like, and then you go into the real track, and you're like, okay, I have to shift down to actually get some torque, you know. So yeah.
I actually have 2 laps with a taxi driver as well. Good friend of mine, Misha, is actually a taxi driver at the Nürburgring.
I know Misha.
And he took me for a spin, actually for 2 rounds, because he said, Melly, you didn't get the whole Green Hell experience. We had too much yellow. We have to do another round. And that's basically what we did. So, and it was great fun. It was great fun. Lotus almost kicking us off the track, which wasn't too nice, but we have it all on camera. We have it all on camera. We're actually driving, if I'm not mistaken, Audi TT Sports, which was also nice. Yeah, it was great. I actually wanted to go for more laps, but the track was closing, and it was so sad. So I'll come back soon. But yes, but I love how interwoven traditional motorsports and digital motorsports is. Yeah. And that's what we saw the last few months as well. Of course, kind of due to situations, races in real life not taking place, or real motorsports athletes, or traditional motorsports athletes, like I like to call them, are taking part in esports racing. Kevin, what's your thought on that?
I really loved it. I followed a lot of Leclerc streams with the Formula 1, and so Jem as well there, and Dave and Pete Smith and stuff like that, which I know. And it was just great to see. I think it was super fun, and the streams were really good. And you just have a better connection, I think, to the drivers as well, which stream and which take part of such things. I think it's just so fun to watch. They were even in good cause and stuff like that. So I hope they keep on with that, even though when the season starts and stuff like that, I hope they keep on streaming.
I mean, Max, it's a perfect way to gain even more reach for the traditional athletes in a whole new world, where they're already superstars and already loved by every single one of those esports racers out there. And we had some incidents as well the past few days on social media, sadly. How would you?
Well, first, it's very good. It's good to see those people. It's good to race with them. It's good to talk to them because you see that they are just humans, just like everyone else is. So that's the most important point. Mistakes do happen. I think some people just didn't think it was that important what we were doing there, and then it came together in the end. But now I think most people realize it's important as well for us, and this community is there not just since half a year, the community is there since 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 years. So, but overall, I think it's just great. Everything is booming, and I think lots of people are fresh, are new, and they want to compete on the level.
And you know what the beauty is? No one is trying to take away something from the other scene. Like, our goal is to create something whole, something new, where everyone can take part, and that's something we should actually take out into the real world as well.
Exactly.
I mean, the main part is racing, right? So every games have that in common.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. It is really, really interesting. I would say let's have a closer look again on the overall standing right before we jump into our next race to make things extra exciting. And there we see, a big sigh coming from Kevin. Yes, 25 points, and of course 30 points for Team Red. And I mean, it's been a great night so far, and it's not over yet.
Best is to come, Mario Kart.
Best is to come. We were already, I was trying to feed the guys some information about the settings of the cars and the combination between the characters and the different chassis and the different tires, because that's my time to shine. Finally, I can tell them something. Lee, how experienced are you with Mario Kart, actually?
With Mario Kart, I thought we were going to go GT Sport, but now you throw me at Mario Kart. I mean, you guys were talking about the Nintendo 64 version. I remember the Super NES version. that was my childhood. You know, it's funny because I saw James obviously saying that he thought he was 10 years too early. I'm probably 20 years too early. It's esports, but I absolutely love Mario Kart. That was my childhood. I think a lot of people's childhood, but it's surprised you guys haven't played it as much as you have.
I'm actually a bit disappointed, to be honest, because we all thought, okay, Mario Kart is something everyone has played.
We maybe didn't forget everything. We will see. I think maybe if we have the control in the hands and we start to play and to drift, maybe it will come.
The sandbagging.
All right, Lee. We will talk to you in just a bit. We have to get back at Tom because he has something very, very important to say, I was told. And Tom is... Oh, no, Tom, not Tom. Dave. Sorry, Dave. Hi, Dave. What is happening here?
Dave.
Well, Tom is about to talk to Dave, as I was told by Race Control, but we'll make them wait. They can wait for us. I already waited for them long enough. It's a live show. Things can happen. You know that. And I mean, it's still... What I really find fascinating is we were kind of worried. No, you always worry that one team is kind of sprinting ahead, you know? But here it is absolutely even. Like you guys go head to head.
Yeah. I mean, we've had 2 good races now for Team Red, but in the end we still have 2 races left, so everything can change. There's just 5 points of a difference, and there are so many points still there, so everything can happen.
All right, the race isn't starting just yet, so don't be confused. We're just showing the in-game footage already, and there we can see the beautiful green hell.
A little bit drifting.
And a little bit of drifting. I've learned that racers don't want to drift, actually. Most of it
takes time.
Takes time.
Takes a lot of time.
Yeah, of course, you have to regain the grip on the tarmac and
lose the grip.
Yeah, that's really, really bad. Maybe Lee is already with us and can bring in his expertise as well. Have you had a lap on the Nürburgring already?
I've not. I need to hit up Rene. Rene lives next to the Nürburgring now, right?
I know.
So as I mentioned earlier, he started his race team, his Butler Pal race team, with his girlfriend, not fiance. I'm not too sure yet. But with Julia. And both Dave and Jimma Jim, as he's called himself in here, which is someone who I know from PUBG, but Jimmy is also actually part of that Butler Powell race team, and they both got their race license at the Nürburgring on the 24-hour, which is what they're going to be racing each other on here. So both of these guys have actually raced on this. Granted, it wasn't in an Audi R8 that they're in right now. It was in a Ford Fiesta ST. But, you know, as Max said, it's a little slow when you're driving the real-life thing.
I can imagine. I mean, I would say on our way back to Cologne, Lee, we can take a
swing by it, yeah?
short trip to the Nürburgring and see what an SUV does on the track.
Might be a little bit
sports
different.
Tires, I must say.
Yeah, with sports tires that helps. But the same as you, Melly. I mean, I've got history. Like Gran Turismo for me is what kind of brought me into racing from a console point of view. I mean, I'm old enough to know all the old Amiga games and all this lot, but Gran Turismo, I literally have bought the PlayStation. I think it was the PlayStation 2. I think I bought the PlayStation 3 for it as well. I may have even bought the PlayStation 4 for Gran Turismo as well. Just for that game. That game of GTA, but we won't get into that one. It's a bit more violent than Gran Turismo. But that game, yeah. And I gotta be honest, I've seen the PlayStation 5, and then I saw Gran Turismo, and I was like, oh God, not again! Don't do it. It's like €500 this time. I can't do it again, but maybe I will.
Oh, we're absolutely going to do it again, Lee. So who are we telling, right? So who are we telling? Because I mean, I am an absolute PC gamer, and even I am considering to buy the newest PlayStation to actually be able to play the newest Gran Turismo, because it looks so good. And I mean, with all the technical advantages and everything, it's gonna be a fantastic game. I expect nothing else. And I would say, guys, before we jump into the game, to bring our newest audiences on track about the format and about what's happening today, I would say let's have a closer look again on the format video.
7 challenges, 2 teams, 1 title. In 7 racing games, our competitors give it their all for glory and honor at the OverTake Clash of Racers. Each team is represented by 1 driver per game. The rules are adapted for each game individually. The winner gets 6 points for the challenge, the loser 4. But there's more. The community has the power to award 1 point per game by voting. If somebody loses but wins the heart of the audience, they can still mitigate the impact of losing. On top of that, each team has a joker which they can use only once, giving them a 3-second advantage in a race of their choice. After 6 games, there will be a clash between the team captains in the studio, fighting for double the points. As a result, the captains can still turn tides and secure their team's victory. The team which wins most points becomes the Clash of Racers champion. Let the games begin.
And that is exactly how it works. We also have our community vote up and running, obviously. So if you're watching full screen, just minimize it for a second to have a look on Twitch, in Twitch chat, to catch the straw poll link and vote for your favorite team. If it's Team Green, don't be mean, vote for green, right? And or Team Red. Do you have a slogan or anything?
Vote red for me streaming again. No idea.
All right. So we do have something very special prepared for you guys. A beautiful highlight clip from Forza and Trackmania. So enjoy.
So here we go, straight into the race. Both Jimmy and Dave are ready to go. Hot on the line. Jimmy qualifying the fastest, gets the pole position, but it is a good start from both of them. Now, remember, we've seen some real howlers at the start of these races. Cold tires, everything that's been going against them. Will they make a mistake? Dave hot on the tail of Jimmy, but it looks like the green machine is holding strong. It's good of them to both be in green, but luckily we know by now which team they are in. Dave Gaming in second place, currently representing the green team, and Jimmy is in the lead for the red team. The red team have got four of the votes. They don't need a slogan. They don't need to be mean and vote for green because they've got 4 votes so far, whereas poor old Kevin, he's just got 1 vote for Team Green. Come on, guys, you got to get behind them, give them a little bit of love. It is 25 points currently. They are trailing by 5 points behind 30 points for the red team. And you can see the focus. The gloves are on for Dave, by the way. By the way, Jimmy had gloves on in the first race. I'm just saying, you know, I'm throwing it out there while he's trying to be all cool and I'm drifting quite casually. That's a nice move from Dave, hot on the tail of Jimmy, putting some pressure on him this time. These Audi R8s, I've had the pleasure of driving one of the Audi R8s, not the LMS version, around the Aston Martin test track. It is a fantastic machine and can absolutely hug those corners in some hard braking. And Dave Gaming, at the moment, is hot on the heels of Jimmy. This time we have a proper race on our hands. It is, of course, just the 1 lap of the Nürburgring. And around the Nordschleife, it is around about, I think, we'll see how quick these guys can do it in, actually. Oh, Dave! Dave's had a howler! That's not what he wanted! A big error! Now, Jimmy, it looks like Jimmy, did Jimmy have the same? Jimmy looks like he's a bit slower further ahead. I'm not too sure. No, Jimmy looks like he's still going strong. I'm just trying to judge by the top mini-map there. It did look like Jimmy had also had a few issues, but looks like he's going strong down the back straight now. Now, I was slightly incorrect earlier on. They actually qualified for their race license, and I'm talking their real race license. It was actually on Hockenheim, not on the Nürburgring. This, of course, the full thing. And now Dave did have a lap around here in heavy rain, I would say. If anyone lives in Germany, you'll know how much it rained last weekend. In heavy rain last weekend. So he's actually been around here. I don't think he put René's car into the barrier like he just did with the Audi R8 there. So I think he got away with that one. Don't think it would have been a bit more expensive. Dave Gaming would have maybe been selling some of those steering wheels he's got racked on the wall behind him to pay for the damages. But this time he looks like it's worked out, and now he's got a bit of catching up to do. But a 7-second gap means that Jimmy should be able to just casually go. Whereas you can see Dave, he is absolutely going for it to try and gain the ground. But you can see it's not happening. Jimmy is holding strong. He must be doing fantastically well so far to keep himself in a really nice gap. So Dave, the pressure is on for the green team because a victory here would take the red team to 36 points, a near insurmountable victory going into the final race. Now, you're going to be wondering, should I use the Joker? I don't know, Kevin. Should you use the Joker at some point? I don't know. I mean, you're trying to save it for the last one, but Max has been sitting pretty, and he is happy to use that at the same time. So it's going to count each other out. So nobody having a laugh really with the Joker. 7.3 seconds. Jimmy is starting to pull away, ladies and gentlemen. 7.5 as he continues to stretch. What sort of time are we looking at right now? I can see the cutoff, but I don't see the time anywhere. I think it's actually not on the screen, so we don't have it. But it is, don't forget to get yourself involved. Hashtag OverTake Challenge. Maybe try and give the green machine some love and understanding, and hope that they can perhaps salvage some points from that. I don't know. 8.8, 8.9. And you know what? He might pull over for a bacon butty in a minute. He's looking good. I've lost any non-English viewer there with that reference. But 9.2, he's actually pulling ahead. Dave, you lost your right foot. He's lost his right foot. It's starting to go into nighttime as well. It's starting to get dark. scary, scary track to drive around in the darkness. Not a long way to go. It is around about 9-minute mark for a lap, depending on how quick they're going to be. In the Audi R8s at least, where they can push the envelope as they reach the far end of the circuit. Dave hard on the brakes, managing to hold steady with Jim, but he really needs Jimmy to make an error now. And it doesn't look like it's happening, does it? Jimmy is absolutely nailing it. He is a commentator for the GT Sport, so you know he's kind of got a bit of pressure on him here to put a performance in for the game that he does represent. I think he was sandbagging a little himself to sort of say, didn't really know. That's Dave on your screen there as we watch Jimmy in the lead, now with a 10-second lead. That one error from Dave has certainly cost him dearly, and it was on one of the fast parts of the track. And obviously, when Jimmy's clocking, what, 180, 190 miles an hour along there, and Dave just puts a toe on the grass and went a bit squirrely, it can cost you so much time as he drifts it around the corner now. He's really trying to put everything he can into it, maybe have a bit of fun at the same time. Everybody loves to drive this circuit, but it can be absolutely punishing if you get it wrong. 10.4 seconds. Do you think Jimmy wins a wheel? I mean, he's got the double console setup. Actually, to be honest, I don't think Jimmy needs another wheel. I think he's got a fair few himself tucked away. Switching over to his console setup from his Fanatec setup on the second shed rig. Really nicely done by Jimmy, holding the groove around the corner. It is an absolute beastly track. They don't make them like they used to. It's a phrase maybe a little overused, but with the Nordschleife, it's actually true. Blasting it full speed down the straight. And you can see the time difference just counting up and up and up and up and up as he hits max speed. Howling down that straight, and then hard on the brakes into the S. Smooth. Oh, he's not lifted. He didn't lift at all. Ballsy from Jimmy. Knew he had the full speed. And then hard on the brakes. Over the line. 8 minutes. Nearly in the 7-minute mark. A fast one from Jimmy. Leaves Dave around about the 8:20 marker. Solid stuff from Jimmy. It will be Team Red that will take themselves another victory here for Max. And what a performance this time. Again, it's a simple error, but it can be costly when Jimmy, by the way, Jimmy's not made an error in both of his races. Absolute solid performance tonight.
Absolutely, indeed. I mean, Jimmy is a very solid rock in your team.
He's the MVP today. Yeah, he won 2 races. That almost secured us the win. If we get the community vote now, it's perfectly done. Jimmy, awesome.
Kevin?
It's
see
tough.
Some sweat drops on your forehead forming.
Dave gave it his best. He did one error with the curbs and then drifted away. But, I mean, I can take it. I can still take it, I think.
You can still take it because I have a very interesting idea to share with you guys. How about,
That's what
I mean, say again, the Mario Kart race will be raced by you guys, right? And it will get you double the amount of points for your win. So 12 points for a win, 8 points for a loss. And how about saying that the community vote in the last race will amount to 6-fold? So 6 points.
Not sure about that. We can do it though.
Yeah.
We will do it. It's my decision. It's my show. So 6 points for the final community vote. But the community vote for this match is not over because the post-match interview is about to happen. And until those guys start to talk, stop, don't say anything, you can still vote. So use this draw poll link in Twitch chat to get in your votes, because as soon as Tom speaks, the vote is over.
Vote.
Fair enough. There you go. To be honest, Melly, I thought you were shouting at Jimmy and Dave Gaming. We all froze a little bit.
You
Let's
did
come to
perfect.
you,
That's
Jimmy,
what I was
first.
trying to do to achieve.
Yeah, it seemed, and I totally love the power trip as well. Whatever Melly says goes in this competition. Jimmy, though, ever reliable. Max is very happy with your performance today. What did you make of that second race for you?
That went a lot better than all of my practice. I was terrible in practice, so I'm really glad that went okay.
What have we learned, Jimmy? Jimmy, what have we learned? Qualifying, practice, forget about it. It's all about the main race for you.
I can't do anything for the rest. Max, can you teach me, mate? Come
No,
on.
you did everything you had to do there. It's perfect. Just keep on going. It's great.
But listen, you know, you did have a little bit of pressure. You're commentating in the GT Gran Turismo, so you felt that pressure, but you got it over the line. You got the job done. You must feel very relieved.
Yeah, it was nice. I kind of, it was a bit of a shame because I saw in the mirror Dave discover the barriers quite early on in the lap. So I was hoping they'd have a bit more of a race than that. But I think it's just one of those circuits where if you make a mistake, it's super punishing. You just hit the wall, you bounce around for a bit, and then kind of contemplate your life choices. But yeah, it was a good one. It was nice and clean lap for me, so I'm happy with it.
Basher1404 on Twitch says, Dave is ordering a shed now. Let's find out if that's happening. Gaming Dave, maybe a shed would help. But I tell you what, like Jimmy says, one mistake and it's hard to catch up. How did you find the race?
Yeah, Jimmy did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, I did a few mistakes. Of course, when you make one mistake, you try to find some time where you cannot find some time. And as I said, Jimmy didn't lose any time to me. So it was on me to either catch him or make more mistakes. And yeah, that's why he deserves the victory in this case.
Yeah, well, listen, I hope you enjoyed it and it was fun. I saw the gloves come off immediately. There was no mucking around from you, Dave. Have you enjoyed the races today?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and what about yourself, Jimmy? Enjoyed the races?
Yeah, awesome. Pleasure to be here. And it's nice to actually do well. So I'm happy with that.
Well, listen, congratulations to both of those gentlemen. As you heard from the one and only Melly, that it's all down to this last race as there's double points. Look at Max looking sheepish and quite nervous, but hey, the essence and power of Jimmy. Don't forget about the qualifier. Just
don't ruin this, Max. Don't ruin this for us, mate.
I'm trying to give my best, all right?
Listen, back to you in the studio, guys.
Thank you so much, Tom, and well done, James and David. It's Jimmy. Sorry, sorry. No, I'm confused, Jim. Well, the shack of all trades. It was a fantastic day up until here, and now it's going to go straight downhill. No, just kidding, because we're going to see Mario Kart with very little driving experience. And the good thing is, the guys are setting everything up for you. So you got the configurations out of the way. But before we go too far ahead of ourselves, it is time to see how the community has voted. And it is 58% for Team Red once again, bringing it up to 37 points for Team Red after 6 races, and 29 points for Team Green.
8 points.
8 points. 8 points is doable, actually. Because, I mean, the last race, let's go through the format once again. We're going to see Mario Kart. You guys will be driving against each other, obviously. We're going to talk about the format just a little bit as soon as I'm updated of what has been chosen, actually. We're going to have a Grand Prix, right? No? We're going to have one track, and it's going to be Rainbow Road.
Nice.
Perfect. Race
best track.
Over there. Rainbow Road with very little barriers and a lot of free space to actually fall down. And as already said, we're going to double up the points that you can win for your team, making it 12 points in total for a win and 8 points for a loss. And I already said that I'm setting up the points for the community vote as well. So guys at home, you have to get involved because your point could actually matter. Well, your vote will actually matter so much now because you are not giving away 1 point. You're not giving away 2 points. You're giving your favorite team 6 points in total. So head over, minimize your full screen or run to your computer, mobile, whatsoever, join Twitch chat if you're watching on a TV and vote for your favorite team. If it's Team Red or Team Green, don't be mean, vote Green because they need it. Let's say it that way. Because, so many community votes going towards Team Red, so Team Red being definitely the community's darling, actually.
I hope it continues. If 58% only, you can do better. Let's do this. Come on.
We had a 75.
Yeah, so we will see how the last vote pans out. But before that, it is now time to introduce a very last discipline of the night, and it's Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart is one of the oldest racing game series in the world. Its first part for the Super Nintendo dates back to 1992. In 2017, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was released for the Switch. The latest sequel received magnificent ratings of more than 90 out of 100 from most game critics. Iconic battles between drivers made it the perfect candidate for our final challenge. To get to victory, our players need to make good use of blue, green, and red shells, bananas, and many more items. This is what makes Mario Kart so unique. But we make it even harder with our Don't Drink and Drive challenge. Both captains get 1 glass of liquid and they need to drink up before the finish line, but they can't drink it all at once while driving. So both drivers need at least 2 pit stops in these 3 rounds to drink the liquid, otherwise they can't win the race. Who will win this epic strategic battle of Mario Kart?
And look at that.
Over the caster's desk. Well, I've joined you pretty much. I'm not kicking you out. Don't
we
worry.
got to keep a distance as well. We have our lines, and we
not cross. Safety distance.
Safety
Do
distance.
Not cross.
Safety distance.
Line.
So here we go.
Yes. Yeah. Well, casting Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Which I've done actually quite a few times.
Have you? I've not. You see, this is a first. You've cast more than me on this one.
ESL 1 Cologne, ESL 1 Hamburg, actually all the big tournaments, at least in the partner area. And Lee, it's going to be fantastic. Those boys don't know anything about it.
They know nothing. They know nothing. They didn't even know whether we were going to get a Joy-Con each or whether it was going to be like split in half or what it was going to be. We're getting the race underway though. So it is going to be Rainbow Road. And both of these are absolutely clueless. But let's see if Max is in a... Who's who? Because someone hasn't figured out how to accelerate.
Mario is Max, if I'm not mistaken. Luigi...
Oh, he's having his drink to start with. Tactical.
Oh, that's very smart.
Tactical.
Because there are 2 mandatory stops. They have to stop twice to finish their beverage.
You see what his plan is, right? He wants to get the blue mushroom, the blue shell. Oh, in fact, he's gone for the... Well, the star's not going to help you. You can be invincible. So the idea is, he took the drink straight away, knowing that's the slowest part, right at the start.
Oh, this is actually one of the best segments of the track where you can...
He's having his drink. He's having his drink. Kevin's drinking. Kevin's drinking. So he's got a green one. He's got a red one. I dare not ask what's in these things.
It's actually a very healthy smoothie.
Is it?
We took care of it, absolutely. So for everyone that just tuned in, we do have the Don't Drink and Drive challenge going on. So during the race, they have to finish a beverage and have to stop at least twice, and they have to finish their beverage before
Max has finished it. He's just nailed it.
Finish the race. So these segments of the races are so of the track are so vital because you can gain that extra speed, that extra movement by jumping right on top of the little hill. But they're not using it because they have no clue how this game works actually. But currently Mario sitting pretty on pole position. Luigi's right behind him, having those power-up mushrooms ready at hand, gaining that speed. And of course, the coins are very, very vital as well. So 10 coins give you maximum speed, actually.
And on the third lap, and Max is in the lead, you can see he's gone off the road. He's gone off the road. Okay, he's going to get hooked back on. How close is he? He's still got a bit of work to do here. He's only got the green mushrooms. He wanted the blues. Greens are not going to help unless he can be accurate. Lost one straight away. Will manage to hook straight on there. And now you can see Max in the lead going over the line. Max will take the victory. You saw how quick he hoovered up that drink. They had water in front of them the entire time.
This is cheating.
And he dribbled. He dribbled. That's half on the floor. And now we're understanding. They had this water in front of them the entire show. I think Max has secretly been holding out and not drinking it so he could hold himself up for the refreshments. But, well, you know, there was, what, 12 points up for grabs in this one? 12 points? Max looking like a solid winner for the red team here. Melly, are you over there now? You left me in the lurch.
I know, but I have tried my best during the whole show to give them information about the game. And, well, Kevin, you didn't listen, obviously.
I'm not sure what I missed. I'm not sure. What did I miss? Was I slow? I was slow.
You are really slow, and you didn't gain like the finesses of the. You didn't take the advantages on the track for yourself. That's a problem. But well, you boys done well for your first competitive match of Mario Kart 8 on a live show. You have to, of course, pay respect where it's due.
Yeah.
And Kevin, it didn't turn out too well for you, and I think even the community vote is not able.
I was following my teammates. I was following them.
You didn't want to make them feel bad,
Yes.
right? So you aligned your performance to theirs. I got you. It's a very smart thing to do. It's a very good thing a leader does. Okay, good leader does. Well, you just saw the overall standing after the very last match. I'm actually a bit out of breath from running around the studio. The match was over so fast. Yes. I don't know what happened.
We were so hyped for 4 hours, and now this race is done in like 1 minute. But I'm not thirsty anymore. That's good.
Yeah. How is the drink?
The smoothie was good.
It was good, yeah.
A lot of kiwi.
Kiwi, nice.
Oh, kiwi.
Yeah.
Kiwi.
We were scared that it's like spinach or something, so it wasn't like a healthy smoothie.
It was a lot of fruits, I think.
Okay, better than vegetables. And I've seen you've taken a bit of your smoothie with you on your pad.
Some battle scarves.
You have to look on the floor.
You just take them. Mine was like 2 millimeters more filled.
Okay, we actually have to get back to race control about that because you spilled half of your drink, Max. Half of it.
I invested my life into this.
Well, if we're correct, I mean, you didn't finish your drink. There's still some left on the floor, but there's still some. Just kidding. I think it's gonna be okay. And let's again have a look on the overall standings after 7 different disciplines and 7 different matchups. We had iRacing, we had Formula 1, we had Assetto Corsa Competizione, we had Forza Motorsport, and we had Trackmania Stadium, we had Gran Turismo Sport, and we had Mario Kart Deluxe 8. And it is 55% for Team Red after the community vote as well, and 37 for Team Green. Condolences, but it's still second. But on the other side, second is the first loser, right? So congratulations to Team Red. And guys, we'll be back with you after a teeny tiny. No, not a break. We have a very, very beautiful trailer prepared for you. Once again, huge shout out to our partner AOC for supplying our wildcard winners with beautiful esports screens. And this is the trailer. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, I'm standing right next to this beautiful trophy of the Clash of Racers. And it is time to announce our Gleam winners of our Twitter raffle. Thank you so much for taking part in our social media giveaway. And stay tuned. Make sure to follow the Twitter accounts and, of course, the Instagrams and Twitch accounts and everything, overtake_GG, to stay tuned and to not miss anything. We will have more raffles. Tom already announced a hoodie giveaway, so things will be good. So keep an eye on those social media platforms as well. And of course, we do have 3 winners. We have 3 winners, actually. Third place goes to Regard, sorry for butchering your name, but it's a live show. I hadn't had time to actually train the names. But Regard R, the Steam voucher is your second place with the SteelSeries Arctis One wireless headset and the Xbox One controller goes to Jonas M. And first place, the MSI GeForce RTX 2080 Super Gaming graphics board. The winner is JC. Congratulations, you are raffle winners. And it is time to actually, well, call up our winner of the night. Well, the team captain at least. So ladies and gentlemen, under a huge round of applause, and I want you guys at home applaud as well, please, Max Benecke for Team Red and this beautiful trophy. Yeah, high five. We can't.
I know, but I want to, you know.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a blast. We had a great time here in our studio. You can see we're all excited and everything. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And Max, it is now time to lift the trophy.
Lift the trophy for Team Red. Team Red community. Very good. Well done. Thanks everyone for watching.
All right,
next time.
Have a good night. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's me, Melly, Max, Kevin. We had a great time. See you next.